It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time on a May 31st, 2023, the last day of May. Tomorrow we get into a new month, and in my book, summer officially starts. But we got a lot to get to over the next 3 hours. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And Brett, not a lot of games last night. We're kind of still waiting for the NBA Finals to start tomorrow, and the NHL Finals, if you're in the Stanley Cup Finals, if you're into that, starting over the weekend.
And we are.
This is the hockey show here locally. But
no, if that's good or bad.
Well, but still today, a lot of news going on between the withdrawal deadline coming up tonight at 11:59 p.m. So you're getting a lot of decisions by guys whether to stay in college or go to the draft. And then we're starting to kind of get an avalanche of start times for the upcoming college football season. So, I mean, a ton to get to, as well as some of our great guests we're going to talk to later today. But, I mean, it just seems like in this past hour or so, a lot coming out on both those fronts.
For sure, near and far, college, pro, and you mentioned the May 31st date for college basketball. And I think probably the biggest, most pertinent local news on that front is Florida Atlantic, as you talked about. You know, during that run, everybody thought, everybody's going to cherry pick them. Everybody's going to poach them. They've stayed together, and I saw at CBS's Top 25 plus one that Gary Parrish compiles, I want to say Florida Atlantic 3 or 4.
It doesn't
Double
surprise
check that
me.
for me. I know very high, and I thought, my goodness, I know they were good, but I don't know if they could quite have that Cinderella slipper all year. Like, then they could start there, and they could play their way back into there in conference play. But it quite a lusty ranking for them, you know, in the middle of the summertime, and I don't think it could go down precipitously, you know, barring some injury or something, because we're getting close to getting rosters, college football and college basketball, mostly settled. There still can be some changes. We know the portal, it's Hotel California. It never closes.
Yeah.
And things can change, but we're getting a little more definition about that. And you're right on the TV front. We got most of the September definition. And for the Tigers, 3 games in September, and the Friday night game against Tulane that we talked about last week, probably the most eagerly anticipated game of the year, that will have potentially, with any kind of weather break, the largest crowd of the year. That'll be on a Friday night, Friday the 13th, no less, at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and kind of just quickly looking at those times that you just said, those first 2 games, I think we probably all assumed those were going to be ESPN Plus games, and they are, but getting Thursday night against Navy on ESPN, and then that Tulane game on a Friday night on ESPN. Those are definitely 2 good ones. I also like that that opener against Bethune-Cookman is a 6 p.m. game, not kind of an 11 a.m. game that people just wake up and say, it's Bethune-Cookman, I don't want to get out there. This gives people, hey, let's go tailgate first game of the season, let's get out there and have fun. So I love seeing a 6 p.m. tip for the opener.
Foursquare with you, right there with you. Great take, Brian. And for the most avid tailgaters, Tiger fans, the loyalists, and I applaud them. The ones that are going to really make up Tiger Lane that day, that makes it a lot better for them to have that 6 o'clock where they can have that all-day fun, all-day experience, instead of trying to get out there and set up at 5:30 and 6 o'clock in the morning to try to have that day. And I don't know what the weather forecast is going to be. But you can almost count on it being probably hot. Yeah. And I don't know how big a factor this is that day. But I would imagine there's a goodly number of dove hunters that day, and they can have the dove hunt done by that time and get out there for Bethune-Cookman. Again, we talked about it last week. You won't hear any from me. There won't be any screaming hot takes on attendance. less than 60,000 or something like that. But no matter what the crowd is that day, I don't think it's that important, that it's significant. Then it will be a few weeks later for Navy, and it sure will be in October. But also, I like the 6 o'clock kick time for the Arkansas State game over in Jonesboro to give people plenty of time to make their way over to Jonesboro that day. They don't have to get up and do it all in the morning. 6 o'clock, I think, much more preferable to most people than those 11 o'clock games.
Oh, absolutely. And it seems like, if my memory serves me correct, it seems like the past couple of years against Arkansas State, they've been around those, especially in Jonesboro, they've been night games, which I've enjoyed. So I'm glad to see that, again, like you said, a 6 p.m. tip.
And a fun scene at Arkansas State University. They have a great tailgate scene. They're very proud of their stadium renovation and what they've done and how Jonesboro has grown now. The only bad thing, and we know about those September games later in the day, the Tigers got an opening weekend last year. At least if you start in the morning, if you're dodging the 5 live radar all day, the Doppler all day, if you start earlier, you got a better chance of finishing. And the Tigers got over to Jones Boogie one year, and it took 2 or 3 days to finish the game. I exaggerate.
I was there
but it was
at that
bad.
game.
Oh, were you really?
I was.
You were there for the first part of the game, right?
I was there for both parts of the game.
Okay, good.
Went to a Walmart in between and got stuff to protect us from the weather. And then I remember sleeping on the floor in the car on the way back.
I bet. That was D'Angelo 05?
Had to be 05. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Was that his senior year? Was that his last year?
05, yeah, that'd be senior
Oh, you
year.
were a little guy.
I was very little. I barely remember it. I just remember going to Walmart and trying to buy every poncho that they had.
Great
and
parenting.
Umbrellas.
Your parents should be applauded. That's the way. That's how you raise them.
That's right.
Let them sleep in the floor of the car coming home from a good ball game.
I was knocked out. But I've never been to Arkansas State since they've done their stadium. They've got everything new at the
really nice.
stadium. So this might be the year, a 6 p.m. start. This might be the year I make the trip up there.
I would encourage you to go. And the press box, skybox side, it is just really nice. In fact, that press box would be ideal at any new renovations for Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. And speaking of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, we got a Liberty Bowl time. We know it will kick off at 2:30 on Friday, December 29th. 2:30 on Friday, December 29th on ESPN, and that'll be a lot of fun. I think that's a sweet time for them to start the weekend early.
Yeah, I was just about to say another good time, I think, for that one on a Friday. Kind of start it the right way. That game will be over around 6 o'clock, 6:30 or so, and then just kind of ease your way into the weekend.
Both teams will stay in Memphis that night. The fans will stay, so they'll get here probably at least a day early, maybe 2. And might have a couple stay into Saturday. I don't know if anybody will stretch it out to New Year's Eve, but you could, and it'll be a lot of fun. And 2:30 for the 65th Liberty Bowl.
Yeah, this past Liberty Bowl when Kansas was in town, because the Liberty Bowl, they're fun, but I've never had super rooting interest in it. But I have neighbors 2 doors down that are massive Kansas fans, and so you could see them all loading up early that morning, getting ready to go down there, decked out in their Kansas stuff. First time I was super amped up. We were all in on Kansas that day. Unfortunately, it did not go in their favor. It
was a classic game.
Sure was. It sure was. It was a classic nonetheless. But yeah, I think that's a great time for the Liberty Bowl.
All the bowl times are out most of September, including week 0, Vandy and Hawaii. That game will kick off at 6:30. I have no clue what time that is in Hawaii.
I don't know. How
2:30?
4 hours back.
Is it 4 hours? I thought it was 5 hours.
2:30. Yeah.
2:30.
Yeah, 2 to the West Coast and 2 more from there. Yeah, 4.
Yeah, that's it's better than when they're at Hawaii and it's like a midnight kickoff. So.
Oh, I love the Hawaii midnight kickoff. So many of
chase all your bets.
So many of my formative years were spent betting on Hawaii, great Hawaii quarterbacks. I'm afraid.
That's a good thing to do.
And our friends at Auburn, they get the full Berkeley experience I got in 2017. 9:30 Central kickoff on ESPN. We got that.
Did you really?
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Pre-game 7:30, kickoff at 9:30. Glacially paced game. We were doing post-game I'm going to say we signed off a little early because we had to catch the charter, but we got off 2:45, 3, rushed to Oakland to the buses. We had police escort to Oakland to catch the charter. Takes forever to load the charter with a football team. It just moves slow as you can imagine. And I love that. And we finally took off at about 3 Central Time, landed in Tupelo at 7. I pulled in my driveway in Far City at 9.
That's some sort of a 24 hours. That's I'll pass on that one, Brett.
And we got beat.
Ooh, even worse. Yeah.
The full Shea Patterson experience that Saturday night.
Oh man, the Shea Patterson era at Ole Miss was really one for the ages, Brett.
It was an experience.
It sure was. But I'm kind of disappointed in you, Brett. You were talking about the basketball withdrawal period and players deciding, and you said big day for the big news for Memphis was that Florida Atlantic was getting guys back. You didn't even mention KO announced that he's staying in the draft. That's huge news.
But he's not coming back.
I missed it.
You missed it.
Oh, it was.
You're breaking it to me now. Play the breaking news sounder, Jay Morgan.
I need to. Yeah, he announced earlier today through
John Rothstein
that he was staying in the NBA
staying
draft.
in the draft. Too bad.
I'm going to go back to my December take on KO. I think there's something there.
I don't see it, Brett. You can't teach size, and maybe there'll be a lot of progression between now and say when he's playing in the NBA. But I don't see it, Brett.
I never said NBA. I never called all conference.
But there's something there. I understand.
We don't know what it is.
and that something is it puts him leaps and bounds ahead of Hasheem Thabeet. At least he can run. Hasheem could not run.
That's true.
Or leap and bound that way, to use your own term there.
So, I mean, look, I wish KO all the luck in the world.
Seriously, good luck to him.
But,
good luck, man.
Good luck.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. And then the news yesterday that DeAndre isn't coming back after.
No.
I mean, I don't even know where those rumors came from. It seemed like
worked out with the Raptors. I saw
today. That's right. But it seemed like it kind of been like a background story of like it's probably not going to happen. Very likely it's not going to happen. But like there's a little thing there. And then yesterday, for some reason, it just became this big story around town that DeAndre can come back next year. Is he going to come back next year? And so. Jason Munn's doing fine work. Had to go out there and break the news that he's not coming back.
Speaking of old guys going back to school, though, Josiah Jordan-James going back to Tennessee.
Did you say he's going back to a walk-on?
He's going to be a walk-on. That's right. I heard he's going to be a walk-on. A deep bench. If that guy's a walk-on,
hey,
I'll tell you.
It's got to be. But yeah, I mean,
like KO, I think there's something there.
Something there. Maybe a little more something there.
I don't know. He didn't have a good year last year.
No,
I don't think.
didn't.
But I liked him.
And then the other guy from Tennessee, I'm blanking on his name now.
I don't know.
He's stuck in the draft. If you give me a second, I'll pull out my. And I got a notebook. Jay Morgan told me I had to get a notebook.
I pestered you for months on end to get a notebook.
I have a notebook now, and so I was taking notes earlier. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 seconds.
You can hear the pages.
I'll filibuster while you find it.
Jay Morgan's a legal pad guy. Why did he throw the spiral notebook?
Well,
he just wanted paper.
I just wanted him to have something to write things down on.
Too. I also have a pen. There you go.
He doesn't bring pens. He doesn't bring anything to write on, but now he does. We fixed it.
Right there. I mean, I keep a pen in my hand.
That's right.
Constantly.
Because you're a professional, Brett.
No. Because I can't remember anymore. I've got to write it down.
That's true.
Unfortunately, that news must have broke before I started taking my notes because he's not down on my list.
Who, the other guy from Tennessee?
The other guy from Tennessee.
Well,
yeah, it's Julian Phillips. I just put UT beside him, so when I looked at it, I thought it was Texas.
Julian Phillips.
Julian Phillips, he's staying in the draft is what I
would
heard.
imagine so. He's going to get drafted.
That probably just made that little comment probably made a lot. UT, I just thought it was Texas, not
see.
Tennessee. Ugh.
But there also was D-League news today. Or G-League.
Of Ron Hollins going to Ignite.
Yes.
Yeah, that's big news.
Somebody else too, right? There was 2 guys that announced it, I believe. But I think that was the big one.
I didn't see the other one.
I'm on it.
Please. So I mean, tons of news for basketball. You also got the news last night. Chris Beard has his point guard of the future for 2024. That's going to go play at Overtime Elite next year, and then go to Ole Miss. It's just it's wild the ways you can get to college basketball or just the NBA
Or not.
from high school. Yeah, I mean, just there's so many options. I didn't know. I originally thought if you went to Overtime Elite, you were Overtime Elite, and there was no college for you. But now I'm learning you can go to Overtime Elite for a year, and they have you can either go to Overtime Elite and be paid for your services, or you can go to Overtime Elite and not be paid, and that's what he's doing, so that he can go to Ole Miss next year. No, I don't either.
I don't mind it. And not just because he's coach at Ole Miss that I love, but Lane Kiffin was just on Paul Feinbaum, and he said it. He goes, nobody knows their roster anymore. You start fresh every year. Yeah. You're not coaching a large segment of returning players. I don't mind the liberation. I don't mind the freedom. We said we wanted it, and now you got Eli Drinkwitz trying to walk back his comments from yesterday after he got just sandblasted and should have.
Sure did.
And should have. And even today, in walking them back, he's talking about, well, I don't want players in 3 or 4 years like a lot of pro players that are bankrupt. Look, Coach, they're an adult.
Yeah,
it's the wild blue yonder. I don't want it either. I would much prefer them put it in an IRA and let the interest rock.
Yeah,
but it's their money, and some will fall through the cracks. There will be some nightmarish stories, but there will be some really good ones. It's not for us to tell them how to spend their money.
Mm-hmm. No,
it's not our money.
Not at all, no. And I mean, you're trying to build the best roster and coach the best team you can.
Mattis Buzelis, 6'10" prospect, projected number 1 overall pick in 2024. He's going to the G League.
I saw this guy. This guy can play. He was at the Combine.
6'10", yeah. Big guy.
Yeah, big guy. Yeah, everyone was talking about him because they were like, this kid who's just like here, just shooting around. This guy's good. Yeah.
I have not been to an NBA mock draft hardly at all up to now. But from now until a draft, it starts to codify. They start to get real now.
Oh, yeah.
We know what we're really dealing with.
Oh, absolutely. Once tomorrow, you get to tomorrow, I mean, that field is kind of set. And you're talking about roster configurations and how Lane Kiffin said we don't really know our roster. I think the one you're going to see more people talk about probably tomorrow, but I've already seen it being talked about, is Kentucky basketball. John Calipari, I know we kind of give him a lot of flack, but what he's going through right now is bringing in a lot of freshmen in this upcoming class, but a class that isn't extremely talented. He's got 3 guys right now who are testing the waters, maybe coming back, maybe not. It now looks like all 3 of those guys are probably going to stay in the draft, and so for these basketball coaches, it's trying to work the transfer portal, trying to recruit guys, but also try to figure out if guys are going to go to the NBA or stay in college for a year. So, in the next couple of years, it's really going to be a lot for these head coaches to juggle, and you're going to see a lot of stories like this where a Kentucky team thought they were going to have a good amount of veteran presence next year along with a bunch of freshmen, and now it looks like they're going to be relying on a lot of freshmen. So it's just a wild, wild sports world. But let me set up today's show before we get into top and not top story of the day. At 3:30, Pat Smith from Jocks will join us to talk some college football and the ongoing Destin SEC meetings. At 3:45, we'll talk some baseballs. We've had a lot of day games today, but a good amount of night games tonight, so we'll get to that at 3:45. 4 o'clock, John Goen from Timber Trust Golf will join us to talk some golf and make our weekly picks. At 4:30, we'll talk a little bit more about the NBA Finals with Game 1 set for tomorrow night. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. At 5 o'clock, Phil Elson, the baseball voice for the Arkansas Razorbacks. He'll be with us to talk about the NCAA regionals, some of those teams that are going to be matched up against Arkansas this weekend, and the SEC as a whole, and what he expects that conference to do in the next couple of weeks. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap it up like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. But I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Vacation at Home sale is going on right now at Family Leisure, so get over there for pools, spas, patio furniture, and even play gyms. The pools, they have the lowest prices in town, and get a free liner upgrade with pool purchases during this sale. The spas are up to $1,000 off of their in-stock spas. Family Leisure also has a huge showroom full of in-stock patio furniture, so get over there, buy today, and enjoy it tomorrow. And don't forget about the play gyms, now on sale for $19.99. Special financing is also available during the Vacation at Home sale. And mention this ad and receive half off installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sports Time, and our numbers 901-360-8255. One-stop shopping for texting, for calling, 901-360-8255. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder, drinking that water, feeling better, getting all rehydrated, and back with us today in this hour, brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. The one and only Lexus dealership in town. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is today is the final day for players to decide if they want to stay in college or attempt to go to the NBA draft. There's a handful of really notable names to keep an eye on, but Brett, you already mentioned it. Florida Atlantic, two guys coming back, Elijah Martin, John L. Davis, two guys that were really important to that team's success. You also mentioned the top 25 and 1 rankings from CBS Sports. Gary Parrish has them as the fifth-ranked team in the country, and that, in his little description, he said that is with all 5 guys returning. So this would put
That's
them
good
in
for
that
the
spot.
Tigers. That's good for the league.
Really good. Oh, absolutely. Great for the league. But there's also some other big names that are going to make a decision this afternoon. Zach Edey from Purdue will make a decision. Kobe Brown from Missouri, a team that Memphis will have to face this season, will make a decision. Adam Bona, Oscar Tshiebwe we're still waiting for, Jordan Walsh from Arkansas. So there's some big-name players that we still haven't gotten a decision from. So a lot of how these teams will be made up next year will be decided in the next 6 or so hours.
My top story tomorrow night is Game 1 of the NBA Finals. I'm ready. It'll be in Denver, the last of the merged ABA teams into the NBA to make a finals. Only San Antonio with a championship title in the NBA. Now they've all made it. Brooklyn as the New York Nets, Brooklyn Nets, Indiana Pacers, San Antonio Spurs, and now the Denver Nuggets. And the Rockies have been in a World Series. The Stanley Cup's been there a bunch with Avalanche and plenty of AFC championship games. But I contend biggest game ever in Denver will be tomorrow night, with the eyes of the sports world on Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Those AFC championship games, I know big, but this is for a championship. This is for a title. This is, if they win tomorrow night, 3 more, and they're champions. I know championship game Sunday propels you into the Super Bowl, but Super Bowl's not played in Denver. But tomorrow night will be, in one of these days, some sweet day. It'll be Memphis. Some sweet day.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day. Brett, you talked about this yesterday when we ended the show, but the Diamond Sports Group missed its deadline yesterday for its rights fee payment to the Padres. So the Padres, they won't be on Bally Sports for the rest of the season. MLB will handle all the production for the games moving forward. And it sounds like they're going to try to make this as seamless as they can. From what I read, the games will still be on television in those local markets, but it will be MLB who's running all the production. MLB will also stream all the games on the MLB TV app.
Everybody happy. Streamers, cable,
absolutely.
Local.
Yeah, and so it's going to be free for the rest of the week there. After that, you have to pay for it. The thing that made me the most happy is that those same broadcasters that were doing all the games with Bally's is going to be those same guys. They're sticking with everybody.
Don Orsillo and Mark Grant.
They're really, really good. So I was glad to see that. And also, Brett, again, before I say this, remember that you are doing really well right now without complaining at all about baseball or Manfred or anything. But Manfred said, basically, this might not be a bad thing because he says that with this plan of MLB taking over and running all of this stuff, that they could be in the direction of expanding the reach for San Diego Padres games by more than 2 million homes. He also said that by starting this would help with the blackout restrictions that has really plagued a lot of baseball fans over the last year. So it's still not a great story, but it looks like they're going to try to make this as easy and seamless as possible for those Padres fans.
Well, I can't finish the rest of this corollary, but, sometimes you have chicken salad and other times you don't. And baseball's trying to do that on the fly. And let's just make it all the above. Let's make the streamers happy. Mm-hmm. Let's make the old folks like me with stuff attached to the roof happy and still have a cable box. Let's make everybody happy. I hope this kicks down to the Grizzlies next year being on 3, 5, 13, or 24 locally. I hope that's what we get. We'll see. My not top story tomorrow will be in 70 days. Tomorrow, 10 weeks from tomorrow, will be the first round of the FedEx St. Jude Classic. I know this is a long-range forecast, but I look at this. I've been to AccuWeather, and I've looked at the forecast for those dates. Do you want to hear?
Sure.
Fine. High of 89, 90, not that bad. You remember when we went to those dates and everybody, we're going to melt at the golf tournament now in August. It's going to be miserable. One year, it was cool out there. I'm going to say 2019, not COVID year, 2019. That Wednesday, you needed on long pants.
Well,
and nice the rest of the weekend. 20, nobody got to go, but it was nice weather for the very few that had to go. 21 was fine. Last year was fine.
Yeah.
All these doomsday, first of all, don't put too much stock in AccuWeather or anybody else 70-day forecast.
Yeah.
But also, let's don't try to be just as negative about everything as we possibly can be, too. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it's been fine at the golf tournament.
Yeah. I was just about to ask, how far, what kind of forecast would you have to look at to get the weather for that week?
Yeah. Well, I had to go to AccuWeather.com and go out to in 10 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah, AccuWeather, they can go pretty far in the future.
Al Gore says he knows the temperature for in 200 years.
Well,
we can't get it right for 70 days?
Well, maybe you got a point. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
we'll see.
We'll see. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk about the SEC Destin meetings and also some other college football news with Pat Smith from Jocks.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
We're right in the middle of spring and summer's knocking at the door. And what's that I hear? You don't have a pool? Well, Family Leisure's happy to solve that issue for you because they have the lowest prices on pools in town. Plus, you can get a free liner upgrade during this pool sale. Want a spa? All spas in stock are up to $1,000 off. You want a play gym for the kids? They're on sale for under $2,000, and you can get special financing on any of those deals. Now, when you go to Family Leisure and you pick out what you want, I want you to tell that friendly salesperson, I heard on the radio I can get half off my installation. And that's true. You mentioned you heard this ad on radio, and you can get half off any installation. Pools, spas, play gyms, any installation. Don't go another year without. Get to Family Leisure, get a great deal, and get half off installation when you mention this ad. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hot wings. What's your favorite flavor? The Crazy Coop has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting, like Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasonings with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by heat. Or Sweet Maple Bourbon, the taste reminds you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open, the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide. Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Right now, try any of their 27 seasonings in a lunch special. Includes 3 whole wings or 6 party wings, regular fry, and drink. Or try a catfish nugget basket with fries for $9.99. Now those are crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop. 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby Whitten and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated. The Crazy Coop.
Hey Memphis football fans, it's head coach Ryan Silverfield. We need you to commit to Memphis football today by purchasing season tickets. They start at just $99. Bring the entire family and come watch the 901's football team in action. Our players always talk about the support of Tiger Nation, and you truly make a difference each and every game when we run out of that tunnel. We want to see you at Memphis football game this year. Go Tigers, go.
Here's what's trending now. You can defer payments of a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months. 33,000 companies have already upgraded to NetSuite, gaining visibility and control over their financials, inventory, HR, and more. Everything they need to reduce manual processes. Whether your business generates millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, take advantage of this special financing offer. No payments or interest for 6 months. netsuite.com/herd, netsuite.com/herd.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you, and joining us now to talk some college football and the SEC meetings taking place this week down in Destin. Pat Smith from Jocks is with us now. Pat, a lot of news coming in today from both the SEC meetings and with all of the with some schedule times coming out. Have you seen any in the past hour or so times that really stood out to you in the SEC?
No. Good afternoon, guys. Always a pleasure to be with y'all. No, not really. I think a lot of times, especially this early in the summer, you're going to get to see what ESPN, the SEC network, the ACC network, those guys, they go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. But I think they're going to hold some of that, maybe some of the more of the mid-season, maybe later in the season type matchups you're going to see at SEC Media Days in Nashville coming up in July.
Pat, I would say right now, leader in the clubhouse on buzz, excitement, rollout. I think the Big Ten it's ahead of the SEC, whether they're rolling out Friday night games at Ford Field Thanksgiving weekend, or even that Sunday noon game Labor Day weekend. Look, the SEC and the ACC have a mighty good game that Sunday night, but that noon window that's football time, even on Labor Day weekend, even with people at the lake, even when it's not NFL. And the SEC used to play at that time. Sometimes Memphis and Ole Miss has played on that Sunday of Labor Day in an afternoonish type window. I wish we would get a little more creative with this, and I know Greg Sankey wants to. So who's the impediment? Is it coaches? Is it administrators? Is it networks? What's the impediment? Because it's not Greg Sankey.
Well, no, it's not. And I tell you, unfortunately, I hate to say this about one of my former employers, but I would say that it's on the shoulders of ESPN. I mean, the problem you're going to have moving forward is the Big Ten basically, they trump the SEC not only in the amount of money that they're going to get over the course of the next 10 years, But basically, they went into their media rights negotiation kind of like the NFL does every, 4 or 5 years when it comes up for rebid. They decide, hey, listen, we're going to take it to the market. We're going to try to get multiple media partners, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, you look at the Big Ten with them having, obviously, their first tier going to Fox, and then all of a sudden you got CBS coming in. You've got NBC along with their contract with Notre Dame. I mean, listen, you can say what you want to about the Big Ten, and the majority of the football is boring and it doesn't excite a lot of people unless you got some money on it in the Deep South. But you got to give kudos where kudos is due, and I think the Big Ten, they knocked it out of the ballpark with this deal. Now, with that being said, Brett, let me throw this caveat out there. Am I excited about Northwestern and Rutgers taking place on that Sunday of Labor Day weekend at 11 a.m. on CBS? No. Am I excited about West Virginia and Penn State on, obviously, the Big Ten announced that on NBC, or Charlotte and Maryland and Syracuse and Purdue? I mean, I think we could see the kind of games that those networks are going to be able to have at their disposal in the Big Ten. But the thing of it is the number of promos that you're going to see during NFL broadcasts, it's all going to be about the Big Ten. It's not going to be the SEC on CBS. It's going to be about the Big Ten. Or on Sunday Night Football, you're going to see promos talking about next week's Big Ten games.
You sure are. Pat Smith from Jocks with us. Great pulse on all things media rights and related to TV and everything coming out of Destin. And with that, Pat, we got off the air last night with the really breaking news that I think is going to have more than a ripple effect. It's going to be a thunderous a domino effect around sports, including here in Memphis with the Grizzlies, with Bally Sports, DBA Diamond Sports, and various other sundry outlets around sports. Do you think the SEC, the hierarchy of the SEC, do you think they're a little bit scared of ESPN going forward with Disney having so much trouble with streaming and getting ready to have the unprecedented layoffs at ESPN? Are they scared that money may not be there on these rights fees, in the out years?
Well, it's interesting that you bring all that up because me being down here in Birmingham and Braves country, a lot of people are worried about Bally Sports, being able to watch their beloved Braves every night. So we'll see what happens with them. But back to your ESPN question, you have to look at the long term. A year ago, ESPN executives were in Destin, and they met with the conference. They were pushing hard. We want 9 games. We want extra inventory. We're paying you guys $3 billion. We want to see more SEC games. Okay, well, the SEC said, well, let's kind of pause. We got to get Texas and Oklahoma. Got to get a better idea of what's going to happen there. So let's kind of kick that can down the road, and we'll look at it next year. Okay, well, they got Texas, Oklahoma taken care of, and here we are in Destin, and the discussions now all of a sudden is, well, you got half the league. They're not wanting to give up that additional home game. And then you got the other half of the league that thinks, hey, we need 9 games so that we can get more data points in the college football playoffs so that we can get 3, 4, 5 teams in the 12-team expanded playoff. Well, it goes back to ESPN. ESPN's like saying, hey, look, we're a partner with you guys. There's nothing in a contract that says that we need to pay you more money because you're going to play an additional conference game. Yes, we have it in the contract that we're going to give you more money because Texas and Oklahoma is coming in the league. But if you're talking about us giving you an additional $80 million a year because you're going to play an additional conference game, ESPN's hitting pause on that right now. That's why I've been told that it's not going to be until 2025 with everything going on with Disney, everything going on with their cutbacks and things of that nature. They have a signed contract with the SEC. They're a 50-50 partner in the SEC network. So the network perspective, they're saying, look, why do we need to give you more money? We're already partners, and the SEC network will benefit from the additional conference game because it will help your inventory, which in turn will mean more ad revenue because people want to advertise on the SEC network because you have one additional game in regards to the conference schedule.
Mm-hmm. Well, talking about kind of media rights deal and expansion, it feels like every single offseason we're going to now be talking about expansion. Greg Sankey was talking yesterday and saying that that expansion's not at the forefront during these spring meetings for the SEC. Well, you saw last week at the ACC meetings where Brett, you got to help me every time. What is the name of those 7 teams? What are we calling them?
The Magnificent Seven.
Magnificent Seven.
Great
That's
movie.
right.
Great movie.
That's right.
Great music in that movie.
Really? I'll check it out. But if one of those teams from that 7 group that seemingly wants to get out of the ACC, do you think any of those 7 would be a team that the SEC would say, we need to go get that team?
I think there's a multiple group of teams that the SEC would love to have, but just like the song and dance that you saw with Texas and obviously Oklahoma, it's going to be a situation where they're going to have to come knocking on the SEC door. If the SEC's media rights was controlled by Fox or just by CBS, do I think the SEC would be more predatory in nature in regards to grabbing teams from another conference? The answer to that is yes. But the problem is with ESPN and Disney having the ACC and the SEC in the same family, so to speak, I think it's going to be kind of tough to take from Peter to pay Paul. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's the ultimate issue with the ACC. It's going to take that Magnificent Seven to basically pretty much shut the ACC down, because at that point in time, if you don't have a conference, you don't have the opportunity to go sue and try to make people stay somewhere. So if those 7 can come together and say, hey, look, we're just going to shut this thing down and move along, or establish our own conference with our 7, then you're talking a whole different ball game. But I think those grant of rights are pretty locked in. I think Clemson and Florida State and Miami, maybe even North Carolina, would love the opportunity to be in the SEC, like a lot of teams would love to be. I just don't see that being on the top of Greg Sankey's list of things to do, with all the other problems from NIL, gambling, storming the field, 8-game, 9-game schedules. There's a lot of other issues that's on top of his boilerplate right now.
All right, we know everything comes out 14-0. It always gets whipped into being unanimity, whether it's 8-6 or 7-7. I tell you what, when I finally learned it is when one year we thought we were going to get the baseball tournament to move here, and when I saw Ole Miss and Mississippi State and Tennessee and Arkansas area schools that I know would benefit more by being in Memphis, and they were part of the unanimity, I said, well, I know how this goes. So it's going to be 14-0, and it's going to be 8 games. How much longer for 8 games?
I think 1 year. I think you will have a stopgap, which will be next year. You're already hearing some ADs come out today. Greg Byrne from Alabama, he gave an interview to Brandon Marcello at 247 Sports a little bit earlier this afternoon, and he basically said that as of right now, he does not see any resolution coming while they're in Destin. It could be longer in the calendar, maybe longer this summer, maybe even into next year before they can come up with a decision. Hunter Yurachek, he gave an interview earlier today as well, the AD at Arkansas, and he says, you know what? I mean, the fans aren't going to explode if we don't have a schedule next week. I mean, we can do our due diligence here. We can take our time to figure out what it's going to be. But what I've been told, Brett and Bryant, is that they're looking at a stopgap fill for next year, because there's not going to be any additional money, at least right now. So you're going to have to play at least 1 year with Texas and Oklahoma in the league. Texas and Oklahoma, by them coming in the league, they pretty much said, look, if we're coming, we're going to continue to play each other every single year. So this is great that you want us, I'm talking about Texas, to play Texas A&M every year, but this is part of the conditions of us coming to the SEC. Nothing's going to happen to our game in Dallas. Matter of fact, they're about to re-up there at the Cotton Bowl at the State Fair in Dallas in regards to that game going to be there for the foreseeable future. That's not going anywhere. Those teams will play. The Egg Bowl will be played. Alabama will play Auburn. You'll have Florida and Georgia playing in Jacksonville. That's not going anywhere. South Carolina will end up playing Kentucky, LSU, and A&M, Tennessee, Vandy, Arkansas, Mizzou. Those are the rivalry games that I expect you will see next year, and then that will be a jumbled lottery-type deal in which the other 7 games on your schedule, it will remind you a lot of what happened in 2020 with COVID, where that 10-game schedule came out, and it was all kind of a mixed bag. You really didn't know what you're going to get. I think that's what you're going to see for next season.
Pat, last thing for you. NIL has obviously been a big talking point throughout these the SEC meetings. Two that really jumped out yesterday that a lot of people have been talking about. Missouri's head coach Eli Drinkwitz saying that college players through NIL are making more than his brother-in-law, who's a pediatrician, and he said, quote, he saves lives. And then the other being Nick Saban, who complained about NIL and then said that he thinks it should be unionized like in the NFL, where you have some sort of cap for these teams. What do you think about those two comments?
Well, first off, I was actually listening to the raw feed of Eli Drinkwitz when he was doing that presser yesterday. And honestly, the full context of what he said, I didn't take away from what Ross Dellinger tweeted.
Right.
And then it was a couple hours later when Ross Dellinger kind of came back and kind of, I guess, sent out a different tweet to kind of clarify what he was doing. I think Ross is an outstanding reporter. I think he messed up yesterday, to be honest with you. I just think that he kind of jumped the gun, which we do at times on Twitter. So I really didn't take anything away too much from Eli Drinkwitz. He is a walking quote machine, that's for sure. I love Eli, and we do in Sports Talk Radio. In regards to Nick Saban, Nick continues to beat the drum, and I will say this. It's always a headline when Nick says something, and Brett, you can back me up on this. I mean, Nick has been consistent for a very long time in regards to some of the things that he is saying currently about the college football model and it possibly being broken. And what do you want college football to look like moving forward? It's an ever-changing landscape, and his quote about it being the NFL or unionizing and doing things like that. That is nothing new that Nick Saban, that is straight from his playbook from 5, 6, 7, even 10 years ago in regards to where all this was happening. He didn't foresee NIL.
Pat, when he was at LSU, he was saying it.
Yeah, exactly. So, so none of that, Bryant, really surprises me about what Nick has said. I think the frustrating part for Nick is that perhaps it's going on many more deaf ears than it probably would have 3, 4 years ago, because this stuff is just changing instantaneous every single day.
Absolutely. Well, Pat, it's going to be an eventful next couple of weeks and couple of months as we build up to the start of the college football season. So thanks for joining us, and let's do this again soon.
Absolutely. And Brett, do not take my baseball tournament from Hoover and put it in Memphis, okay? Stop that crazy talk, okay?
I won't do it. Thank you, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
You got it, man.
Pat Smith from Jocks joining us to talk some college football and about the SEC meetings going on down in Destin. But we need to get to a break. And when we come back, we'll talk some baseball. That's next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Everything's greening up, and it's my favorite time of the year because we start playing golf, and I got the best place to go play golf. That is beautiful Miramichi in Woodstock, about 12 minutes from downtown. This gorgeous place, well, it's challenging, but the scenery is so darn beautiful. And did you know that Miramichi Golf Course now offers memberships? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their membership runs $300 a month plus tax and includes unlimited rounds, range balls, no extra cart fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. There is no initiation fee. So you want to go and just practice? They got the best practice facilities around. Unlimited range balls, and it's $300 a month plus play whenever you want to. It's a win-win. Call today for your membership. You want to act fast because there are only a few spots left at the great Miramichi.
The Dell Technologies Summer Sale event is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest Intel Core processors like Thin and Light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. It's the perfect season to power your passions during Dell's Summer Sale event. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. Offered to U.S. residents by WebBank, who determines qualifications for and terms of credit.
Get ready to command the road
road in a new ride from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Go the road less traveled in 2023 Kia Seltos LX. $263 a month, $29.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sportage LX, $288 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 2023 World Performance Car, 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. EPA estimated range 310 miles, $499 a month, $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month leases. Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Seltos P745, 8378, MSRP 23,996. Sportage P7173, 696, MSRP 27077. EV6 P5105,073, MSRP 49,965. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Hey, Memphis football fans. It's head coach Ryan Silverfield. We need you to commit to Memphis football today by purchasing season tickets. They start at just $99. Bring the entire family and come watch the 901's football team in action. Our players always talk about the support of Tiger Nation, and you truly make a difference each and every game when we run out of that tunnel. We want to see you at Memphis football game this year. Go Tigers, go.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And we've had a handful of baseball games start today. I don't know if I think a couple are finished, maybe one finished.
One finished.
One finished. What was that?
The Detroit Tigers and the Texas Rangers, where the Tigers took down the Rangers 3-2.
Good game. Real good game.
Brett, I'm gonna be
Not
honest.
if you had the Rangers minus 1.5, it wasn't.
Brett, I'm cold as ice right now.
I'm on a cold streak, too.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's okay. No, it's quite all right.
But
I know how to break out of a cold snap.
Keep betting.
Keep betting.
It's no way the Oakland A's are winning 3 in a row.
That's a good point.
Well,
it's a good point.
We might pay a big price for it.
We might have some money invested in that one going on now. Braves scored 3 last inning. They're up 3-0 now. The A's are up to bat.
Well, I'll tell you.
Bottom 5.
Jay Morgan, I've told you multiple times, I don't like future bets.
Not a future guy.
In the last 2 days, I bet 3 future bets.
On what exactly?
3.
College football win totals, hopefully?
No, we talked about this yesterday. 2 on Arizona basketball.
Oh, you told me
and
that.
1 on Jarris Walker from Houston to be a top 5 pick in this
But the college
draft.
football futures don't do it for you. It's like an investment, a little gift for yourself for the Christmas time.
The drafts
buy mom and dad and your girlfriend something nice with all the money you won in your college
my
football
girlfriend
futures.
doesn't need anything nice.
Give them a gambling ticket.
That's right.
That'll show how much you love them.
Exactly. The NBA draft is coming up. It's almost here. We're getting so much news about it. I'm fired up about it. We're getting news about college basketball, players coming back, players transferring. I'm just not in that college football mode to really gamble yet,
I see.
But I am on baseball. And
The
I'm really
numbers are out there.
They are.
In baseball, with Monday being Memorial Day and kind of the first peek at the standings, and if they mean anything, give me one team from the American League if the playoffs started today, they're going to be there in October.
Oh, man.
And one team from the National League, they're going to be there come October.
The Cardinals.
That's a terrible one.
Yeah,
I'm going to say the Atlanta Braves, Brett, because no matter how hard they try and pitchers get hurt, they seem to just have other ones that they just call up out of nowhere. Now, their bullpen's a little bit questionable, which could be an issue, but something you could do at trade deadline that's always fixable at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And then also, I think Ronald Acuna Jr. is the MVP. I mean, he's on pace to have a 40-40 season. It's incredible what he's doing. So for that reason, I think the Braves in the National League.
I'm with you, Braves, National League. What's the farthest you think they can go? Can they win it all, get to a World Series, get to a LCS? How far can they go?
I think they can certainly get there.
I think they could win a world. They could they're as good as anybody else. And certainly, obviously, a lot of that has to be sustained. I mean, it's not even June 1st. And that's generally the official first day you can check the standings. June 1st is. So we're very early in the season, but as they're playing their best baseball, I don't see a lot of teams being able to beat them.
American League.
Hard to pick against the Rays.
Yeah, I mean, they have good pitching, certainly, and a good lineup.
And if they get the rest of their pitchers healthy.
That's right, and they're not even healthy. Yeah. No, bullpen's not even healthy either.
Yeah. I'm with you on getting there, but going far, I would take the Yankees for this reason. It's the Yankees, and you know at deadline time they're going to spend money, and the Rays aren't.
No, I was thinking about the Rays. I'm not sold on the pitching staff.
I'll tell you what, too, and this is going to be crazy because they're not playing very well right now, but the Mariners. They have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, and they have a bunch of guys in their lineup that you have seen hit well before.
They're just not hitting the ball right now.
If they get hot for, let's say, a 60-game stretch of the season and then are playing their best baseball when the playoffs start, that's a good recipe to go far, is have a good lineup and really good pitching staff.
The American League's for keeps. 10 teams over 500. Detroit, with that win earlier today, they're only 2 under 500. And you got Cleveland that I think will make their push. And I said it the day we made baseball predictions. I picked Cleveland to win the AL Central. I never get that division right. Whatever team I picked the year before, that's who you should pick for the next year. And, they kind of always trade that thing around. I mean, one year Minnesota wins it, one year Detroit hasn't in a while. But White Sox, they win it. Cleveland wins it. Kansas City had their little run, and that's good and over. How about the Cardinals scratching out 2 runs in 17 innings against the vaunted Kansas City Royal pitching staff? 2 runs. And didn't even bat in the 9th last night, or it might have been 2 out of 18.
Yeah, no.
That kid had a perfect game on him. Well, I guess it was a combined perfect game, but still.
Yeah.
Into the 8th inning?
Yeah, Monday.
7th inning? 8th inning?
7th or 8th.
Too far into the game.
Too far against the Royals.
Way too far. And Mike Myers from Ole Miss, spelled Mayers.
Former Cardinal.
And he had former Cardinal who had that tragic game that I think his ERA is still rolling. It's like the debt clock. I don't think Did he stop the bleeding and get anybody out to stop the ERA rolling? Because he never pitched again for the Cardinals, did he? I think it's still going.
It might
infinity.
Be. It might be.
Well, until he redeemed himself the other day, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess that might.
But as a Cardinal, I think it's still right.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's still going.
You can cancel it out by pitching well against the Cardinals.
None of us said the 2 teams in Texas. Rangers and Astros.
I was just about to point that out.
And they're very good.
They would be my next 2.
West,
they have to be.
There are 4 teams, I'm sorry.
Astros you probably trust more than
500.
I'm sorry, say it again. I interrupted
In that division, the AL West, there are 4 out of the 5 teams are over 500. The 5th team being the Oakland Athletics.
Well, the anti-Central.
And they all are feasting on them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone's feasting on the Athletics.
Except for the Braves, who are trying to avoid being swept today by the A's.
What kind of prices have you been paying to take the Braves the last 2 games?
I try to find creative ways, Brett, to take them not the last 2 games. I have not, thank goodness, have not bet on the last 2 games.
Everyone was betting.
But when I'm betting against the A's or against a bad team like the Royals, obviously not when the Cardinals are playing them either, but I try to find creative ways to take a plus money bet, whether that be in the first 5 innings, -1.5 sometimes, some stuff like that. So, get a little aggressive.
It's hard to find some good plus money bets against the A's, though, because everyone usually loads up on whatever team they're playing. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour. When we come back to start our 4 o'clock hour, John Goen from Timber Trust Golf will join us to talk some golf and make our weekly picks. That's next on Sports Time.
Are you looking to lease a commercial space for your business? Call Stephen Hoffman. Are you a landlord looking to have your space leased? Call Stephen Hoffman. Maybe you're looking to buy or sell commercial real estate. If so, you want a professional broker looking out for your best interest, and that broker is Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Stephen is a Memphis native who knows his market well and only works the commercial side of real estate. He works for a great firm that has been locally owned and operated in Memphis for almost 40 years. Whether representing tenants, landlords, or investors alike, you are sure to get great market analysis, access to on and off market listings, and a tough negotiator on your behalf. Call 901-761-5595 and ask for Stephen Hoffman. You can also find him on the web at myerscre.com. That's MYERSCRE.com. Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Representing your real estate business is his business. Call Stephen Hoffman, 901-761-5595.
If you have joint pain, they're telling you surgery is your best option, please stop what you are doing and call QC Kinetics. That's what I did. Hey, this is Greg Gaston. The folks at QC Kinetics use the latest, most advanced regenerative treatments to bring lasting pain relief, the natural way. Regenerative medicine harnesses your own body's healing agents to restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, hips, shoulder, and back. The precision treatments are done in the office with no drugs and no downtime. I've had the treatments. I'm telling you, it honestly works. QC Kinetics has hundreds of clinics all over America and thousands of satisfied patients. If your joints are aching from arthritis or injury, look beyond steroids and surgery and discover the amazing possibilities with regenerative medicine. Especially this time of year, you need to be living life to the fullest. If you can get relief and avoid going under the knife, doesn't it make sense to check it out? Call QC Kinetics now at 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Get ready to command the road in a new ride from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Go the road less traveled in 2023 Kia Seltos LX. $263 a month, $29.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sportage LX, $288 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 2023 World Performance Car, 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. EPA estimated range 310 miles, $499 a month, $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month leases. Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Seltos P745, 8378, MSRP 23,996. Sportage P7173696, MSRP 27077. EV6 P5105073, MSRP 49,965. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on the license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/30/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
We're right in the middle of spring and summer's knocking at the door. And what's that I hear? You don't have a pool? Well, Family Leisure's happy to solve that issue for you because they have the lowest prices on pools in town. Plus, you can get a free liner upgrade during this pool sale. Want a spa? All spas in stock are up to $1,000 off. You want a play gym for the kids? They're on sale for under $2,000, and you can get special financing on any of those deals. Now, when you go to Family Leisure and you pick out what you want, I want you to tell that friendly salesperson, I heard on the radio I can get half off my installation. And that's true. You mentioned you heard this ad on radio, and you can get half off any installation. Pools, spas, play gyms, any installation. Don't go another year without. Get to Family Leisure, get a great deal, and get half off installation when you mention this ad. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hey, Memphis football fans, it's head coach Ryan Sowerfield. We need you to commit to Memphis football today by purchasing season tickets. They start at just $99. Bring the entire family and come watch the 901's football team in action. Our players always talk about the support of Tiger Nation, and you truly make a difference each and every game when we run out of that tunnel. We want to see you at Memphis football game this year. Go Tigers, go.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you, and joining us now to talk some golf and make our weekly picks. John Gowen from Timber Trust Golf joins us now. John, thanks for joining us. How are things down at Timber Trust this week?
Crazy busy, fellas. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Good deal, John. We love to hear that. We know the weekend was fantastic for you, and we also know the weekend really gets started for y'all tomorrow with the scramble. I hope a lot of teams sign up. I know you need a rain. In my gauge, I only emptied almost 2 inches for the month of May.
Wow!
So the water really shut off. I know. March was 13, April was 9 inches, and only 2 in May. So I know you're dry, but I know you're also going to be crowded this weekend.
Well, Brett, one of the biggest investments I made in the property was fixing our irrigation lake dam last year, and it's really allowed us to have a substantial amount more water that we can continue to irrigate as we stay dry during this stretch that we've had. So, it's been great for us. We've been able to irrigate every night, whether it's, kind of tees and fairways every other day, greens obviously on a nightly basis. But it has definitely been much more of a luxury this year than last, continuing to be able to at least have some water to be able to throw on the golf course, especially as it's continuing to kind of finally get right from a growing perspective. The last thing we want to do is slow things down just because we get a little droughty. So just really happy with the continuing progress we make, from a golf course perspective as we're definitely still seeing fairways continue to fill in from some of the winter issues but we've vented greens and rolled them yesterday and again today, and then we verticut greens today and then threw some top dressing sand on there, brushed it in kind of later this afternoon. It brushes in just so nice. It just does such a great thing for the greens from the standpoint of just filling in a little bit of the imperfections. Ball roll quality is definitely improving. The verticut definitely helps us from the standpoint of just, kind of thinning out, the growth that we've been getting. And so just made some really good strides the last 2 days, I feel like, from how greens continue to improve. Not that they have been poor by any stretch of the imagination as we've come out of winter, but, as we're getting into the season and getting into much more of a growing pattern, that we can really start getting a little bit more aggressive with these things and really push the overall quality of them, as the temperatures have allowed us to be able to dictate that a little bit.
John, I don't mind a little drier, a little crustier fairway, because then I can lie to myself about my driver. I can feel like I'm hitting it. I'm going to get that big bounce, that trampoline bounce, and that good rollout on the driver. And I told you a few weeks ago I was going to ask this question. You go to your favorite golf shop, you go to your pro shop, you order a driver. It's not one size fit all. How much should people buy your driver, then get to someone like you, and then find out if maybe you need to shave a half inch, 3/4 inch off that driver, because that driver's length's not one size fit all, is it?
No, they need to do the exact opposite of what you just said. They need to go and they need to get fit for that club before they ever come see me. They need to, be at a demo day. They need to come here to Timber Trust or their favorite golf shop, and they need
custom order.
They need to custom order that club because, to your point, too stiff, too soft, too this, too that grip size. What size does that ultimately need to be? A little bit bigger, a little bit smaller? Are you, because of your height, do you need something that's a little bit longer? Nowadays, I mean, most drivers are about 45.5 inches, which is plenty long for most people.
Sure is.
If anything, what you could continue to see is just some shortening of those clubs. I mean, I'll be honest, I feel like I swing better with a 45-inch driver than I do with a 45.5-inch driver. I know half an inch doesn't seem like it's a heck of a lot in swinging a golf club, but at the end of the day, it feels like it frees me up a little bit more. I don't have a tendency to get as stuck at times as I do with a driver that's maybe a little bit longer for me. So, the other thing too is weight. Does a little bit heavier shaft help maybe slow you down a little bit or sync you up a little bit better? And that helps with your overall golf swing, that where we get some of these lighter clubs, although the shaft strength is correct, it may just be a little too light and you can kind of swing out of your shoes at it and just get your golf swing out of sync a little bit. So, there's multiple things in these fittings that, you can either come here, you can go to a demo day at your favorite golf course or whatever, but I would definitely get fit for something, get it in before you ultimately show up, and then we start making some tweaks to because driver in particular, different than irons, it isn't going to be a substantial swing change that would impact loft or lie for the most part. Not that there's really a lie to a driver at the end of the day, but I don't think you're going to make a huge positional change that would force you to either need to go up in loft or down in loft. Although nowadays all these clubs are, adjustable up or down in loft in some way, shape, or fashion anyhow.
Mm-hmm. Well, kind of talking about drivers and when you're getting ready to hit your tee shot with your driver, I saw a tweet from Michael S. Kim kind of talking about, you hear all these people talk about kind of that mental approach when you're getting ready to hit your golf shot. A lot of people say you shouldn't be thinking about anything, just kind of empty your mind when you're about to hit a golf shot. And he kind of explained it and said that he and some people that he kind of talked to on a daily basis, they don't like that idea, thinking that's kind of when those negative thoughts and you kind of think too much about different things, that he tries to focus on one thing when he's about to hit a golf ball, and that kind of helps him. For you, how do you kind of, when you're teaching people kind of that mental side when it goes to hitting a golf ball, do you kind of go to the approach of don't think about anything and just kind of relax and hit it? Or is it kind of, because I know sometimes I get up there and I'm thinking and I start thinking about one thing and then another thing gets in my head and then I'm thinking of 5 or 6 things and it messes up my golf swing. What's kind of your approach on that mental side of it?
Well, I do like some thought, whether it's a takeaway thought or a downswing thought. I think that one or the other, could potentially be the key in success or failure from a golf swing perspective. So I do like at least something in that regard. Now, obviously, if we're in a lesson, there's going to be a lot more conversation about position,
right,
and feel. Trying to feel certain positions, accomplish certain positions, whether it's, trying to get our arms down in front of us a little bit better, not getting stuck, not letting the right elbow drop into the right pocket, because then we maybe get a little too far under and then swing too far inside, back from the inside at the golf ball. So, those types of things are much more from an instructional perspective. But when you get out on the golf course, it's take that practice swing, maybe two, feel a position, and then, just think about, okay, what's my trigger to get to that? Is it I want to feel the club, get to kind of this hip high position parallel to the ground and then take it, up? Do I want to feel my hands a little bit higher at the top of my backswing? Do I want to feel like I unwind a little bit more, from my core down, as opposed to trying to think about this whole weight transfer right to left? So, just multiple things there. But I mean, again, I like the one idea as you step up there to where, then you've got a better chance from a success or failure perspective.
This week, the tour at Jack Nicklaus's course in Dublin, Ohio, outside of Columbus, Ohio, at Muirfield Village, and we know that course is always, it's up to standard. It's really tough. But, John, I don't know if we'll see a traditional tour stop, excluding the majors, play any tougher than Colonial did last weekend on Sunday. It ate them up. I know the wind was blowing 15 to 20 miles per hour, but that course, it got into people. And we know it's difficult, but when you playing off at 8 under, the course won.
Yeah, that's always the biggest thing, right? I think realistically for a lot of these golf courses, day in and day out, with no wind and benign conditions, I mean, these guys are going to eat it alive. I mean, even if you firm up greens, these guys are just going to eat golf courses alive. So, the thing I think of is, of course, the good old days of the FedEx St. Jude Classic, when you got John Cook shooting whatever it was, 26, 27 under par to set the record. And then, of course, you go through the renovation at Southwind. The 2008 FedEx St. Jude Classic, 4 under par won that golf tournament. The wind blew all week long, 15 to 20, and it ate those guys alive. And, it's one of those things that, wind plays, or just weather in general plays a substantial factor into the difficulty. And obviously the harder it blows, it just makes it that much more difficult for these guys to either hold a green, or it over accentuates that draw that you're normally accustomed to hitting, and you can't aim in certain spots that you would normally feel comfortable aiming at, because at the end of the day, the wind's going to push it more one way or the other. So, or you're used to hitting that draw, and then the wind holds it up and it doesn't draw as much as you thought it was going to. So, yes, these guys are supposed to be able to take that a lot into account, but it's still, again, when you get out there and you're under the heat of the gun, it's harder to kind of think about and rely on some of those shots, just because then you start getting into guide mode. You don't take a lot of this, confidence that you've had on this golf course that, as we all know, is not overly challenging. It's one of the shorter courses and much more user-friendly when the conditions aren't as difficult as they were on Sunday. So, weather can play a substantial factor in the difficulty of the golf course, especially wind.
And in 2008, a Texan, a classic wind player, Justin Leonard, won when that course really bared its teeth.
It was in a playoff,
weekend,
too, to my faint recollection. I want to say it was. I can't remember whether it was a 3-way or two. Allenby, Richard Carlson was in a couple of different playoffs there, but I want to say Robert Allenby was involved in maybe that one in particular. But I can't remember, because I think Lee Westwood won maybe against Robert Carlson, in 2010. So, look at me. I feel like you, Brett. I just go way back and start just pulling things out.
But we don't talk about Lee Westwood because he had on the wrong logo that weekend.
Hey, still won. And he's still a top player in the world when he won. So I get it.
He sure was.
But still, you got to be happy with him and not Fabian Gomez.
Yeah, but we don't talk that brown logo. We talk FedEx. John Goen, our guest from Timber Trust Golf, talking all things golf, and we're going to get to golf picks in a minute. And Rory, he spoke again today and on Live and on Ryder Cup. And he said, of course, Brooks Koepka should be on the United States team. I think there should be more on there. I think it's a no-brainer for Dustin Johnson to be on there somewhere. But he said no for the European team. How can he have it both ways?
Well, okay, so if we really take a pretty hard look at it, I don't think the European team suffers as much as the American team does. If you look at the live players, I mean, Ian Poulter kind of passed his prime. Henrik Stenson passed his prime.
Sergio, Mr. Ryder Cup, though.
He is Mr. Ryder Cup, but, I mean, heck, he's even kind of, I get that he can get his juices flowing for 3 days out of an event or whatever, but, the aging Europeans are all play and live right now, and so I think that they are less impacted than the American squad is when you've got Koepka and you've got Dustin Johnson, and unless he starts playing a little bit better, Bryson is a conversation back and forth. Yes, he played great or better during the PGA Championship. He's going to need to do something, in my opinion, during the U.S. Open and probably again during the Open Championship, because these are the chances these guys are going to have to be able to make this team and not be having to have the conversation or not having to have Zach Johnson pick them, because clearly he doesn't want to go down that path. He feels, from what I have at least somewhat understood, he feels very adamant that these guys shouldn't be on the team, or he doesn't want to have to pick them or would not pick them to be on the team. So, it's different when you force their hand, and maybe, who knows, DeChambeau wins the U.S. Open or for some freakish reason wins an Open Championship, and, now all of a sudden he vaults into the top six. I mean, if he's in the top six, I don't know how you leave him off. And heck, for that reason, I mean, who's to say Patrick Reed doesn't rally and do something?
Right.
Clearly he's been very huge in Ryder Cup victories in the past. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this all plays out. I think Zach Johnson's going to have his hands absolutely full with the decision of Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson, though, in particular. I think it's just going to be – I don't know how he figures out a way to leave them off of that squad. And especially now, I mean, it is a PGA of America event. The PGA of America runs the Ryder Cup. It's not the President's Cup that's run by the PGA Tour. So at the end of the day, it's whatever the PGA of America is going to tell Zach Johnson, that he can and cannot do. And then if he leaves them off and he has the ability to be able to pick them, I think he paints a really big target on his chest if they are not successful over in Rome here at the end of the year.
Well, speaking of Rory and things he said, he was also talking about the majors and how there need to be improvements made to those purses for those majors. It seems like a lot of talk about money since the start of LIV and all that money that those guys are making. He kind of implied that he thinks we could get to a point where some golfers decide to skip out on major events because the purse isn't enticing enough. Do you agree with the statement? Do you think we kind of get to a point down the road where we see that? And how do you think some of these purses at these majors need to be improved?
I think that's absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, how do you go down that path? Everybody's wanting to compare themselves to either Nicklaus or Tiger right now. Mm-hmm. The only way you're going to be able to do that is you're going to have to win majors. And I can tell you right now, Brooks Koepka will keep playing. He doesn't care about it. I mean, Brooks Koepka, take out injury years, has been the most dominant player in the majors over the last, 7-8 years. Mm-hmm. Brooks Koepka isn't griping about purse money. He goes out, he looks you in the face, and he says, Rory, when was the last time you won a major? By the way, I'm going to continue to kick your butt in every single major we play in, and I don't care because I'm going to continue to win majors. Gripe about the purse money all you want. I will continue to kick your butt in these events, and I don't really care how much money I'm winning.
And I love him for it. I think he is it's not a lot of talk, but he's one of the biggest back-it-up athletes out there today. It's like Jimmy Butler. It's playoff Jimmy Butler, and it's major Brooks Koepka. So we're going to pick the Memorial. It's not a major, but it is treated in a different regard because of Jack and Barbara Nicklaus and those great sports fans in Columbus and out at Dublin at Muirfield Village. Jay Morgan, you're first. Give us your lock.
I'm going to take two-time winner of this event, Patrick Cantlay, please. Number 4 in the world. Can't go wrong
with Cantlay. John?
Let's see. I guess I'm going to take Jon Rahm.
Why not? And he got robbed a few years ago during COVID in this. That was just awful how he was done playing outside. Look, I digress. Bryant?
I think I am going to go with Xander.
X marks the spot. Xander Schauffele, so that leaves me, and I'll proudly take Scotty Scheffler. Shot pick, Jay Morgan.
Wow, no Rory. I'm going to take Sahith Theegala, please, number 27.
Very good. A lot of pickers have him. John?
I almost feel like going with your guy there, Mr. Hoagie, but I think I'll go with Billy Horschel.
Billy Horschel it is. Bryant?
I will go with Adam Scott.
Very good. I have him on my list. I have all year. So that leaves me with Corey Connors. So Jay Morgan with Patrick Cantlay, Sahith Theegala, John with John Rahm, and Billy Horschel, Bryant with Xander Schauffele and Adam Scott, Scotty Scheffler, and Corey Connors for me. John, tell everybody about how they can get in the scramble tomorrow, have fun this weekend, and is there a carryover in said scramble tomorrow?
Now that you mention it, I believe that there is a carryover in said scramble for tomorrow.
Good deal.
Obviously the scramble tomorrow night, 5:30. You can call us at 662-895-3530 to be able to sign up for that. We've got the sign-up sheet behind the counter here. And then this weekend should be really good. It's going to warm up. Definitely some chances of some scattered showers and things along those lines, but should be a good weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday to be able to get out here and play some golf. Maybe I think we've still got some early morning tee times on Saturday. I know we do have an event Saturday afternoon, but Sunday's wide open at this point. You can come on out and experience what's happening here at Timber Trust. Plenty of opportunity, and of course, our next real big event's going to coincide with the U.S. Open, the Saturday of the U.S. Open. We'll do a 4-person scramble. You'll pick a player that made the cut in the top 20 of the field. We'll take your scramble score and their gross score from Saturday's round, pair those two together, and then we'll pay out some gift cards and stuff there at the end of the day. We've got some good tee gifts and stuff for everybody there. Of course, that will include food and a couple of beverage tickets, but should be a really good time. It's going to be a 9 o'clock shotgun, so it'll be early in the day to where everybody can get in, get out, play golf. We are limiting that from a team perspective, but those events have continued to be real successful, and we've seen a lot of really good participation out of them. But that'll, of course, be Saturday of Father's Day weekend. So that's the 17th of June. But should be a great opportunity to come down here and enjoy your Father's Day weekend here at Timber Trust.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. John, enjoy your weekend. We'll do it again next week.
Guys, thanks so much. Y'all take care.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
John Goen from Timber Trust Golf. He joins us every week to talk some golf and make our weekly picks. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the NBA Finals that are set to tip off tomorrow night. That's next.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
You ready to get your ride on at Gossett Mitsubishi? Inventory is arriving daily and we're ready to put you in a new ride today. Get 7 seats and 27 MPG combined in your new 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander. We Gossett at $33,285 or $469 a month. And the winner takes all in 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. 420-mile total range, 64 combined MPGe, and 38 minutes best charging time. We Gossett at $449 a month. And you'll always get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Outlander $469, Outlander PHEV $449. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Outlander PCO 45645, MSRP 33785, PHEV PZ 043032, MSRP 48230, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month, dealer stock only.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-585-8282. 800-585-8282. That's 800-585-8282.
Hey Memphis football fans, it's head coach Ryan Silverfield. We need you to commit to Memphis football today by purchasing season tickets. They start at just $99. Bring the entire family and come watch the 901's football team in action. Our players always talk about the support of Tiger Nation, and you truly make a difference each and every game when we run out of that tunnel. We want to see you at Memphis football game this year. Go Tigers, go.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Seltos P745, 8378, MSRP 23,996. Sportage P7173696, MSRP 27077. EV6 P5105073, MSRP 49965. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Hey, Jeff Allen, you ready to command the road at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Listen to this, Randy. I've got a world performance car. 2023 Kia EV6 Wind EPA estimate range 310 miles at $499 a month, $49.99 due at signing.
Whoa!
And the 2023 Kia Seltos LX SUV 34 MPG $263 a month, $29.99 due at signing. Plus a 2023 Kia Sportage LX $288 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time, and the NBA Finals are set to tip off. I got it right that time, Jim Morgan.
You did.
I did. Tip off. It's supposed to tip off tomorrow night.
You've been doing it so consistently, I don't even feel the need to comment on it anymore.
It was just
you know what sport you're talking about.
I'd always
now.
mess up.
Yeah,
muscle memory.
They're going to kick off.
I just don't think you ever thought about it before. You're just like, this is a euphemism for something starting.
Right.
But when it's sports, you know, you could use the exact one
That's
that they're
right.
doing.
And it'd be more specific.
First pitch, kickoff,
That's right.
tip off.
But
tee shot.
First tip tomorrow night. what is it, 7:30 first tip?
That's right.
Tomorrow night. And Brett, we kind of talked yesterday a little bit, not very much, after we talked to Rob Fisher about how long we thought this series would go. And I was kind of looking around today. It seems like most sports books are pretty unanimous in the bet that this game's probably, they think this game is going to end in 5 games. So kind of like you said.
Series going to end in 5 games.
Yeah, series. I say game. I was just giving myself
no
credit.
worries.
But that this series will end in about 5 games, kind of like what you said yesterday. And I think Rob said, or no, you didn't say that. Rob said that yesterday, 5 games.
He said 4-1. I feel sweep, and I don't feel great about it. I hope I'm wrong, and I usually am when I make a sweep prediction. Usually just tragically wrong. I don't really have a preference on who wins this game. I watch every minute of every game.
Yep.
I don't really have a preferred outcome, a winner. I would be okay if Miami won it. What they've done, and if they do it, you're going to see a lot of stories. The parallel of the Heat to UConn, and and are they blue blood? And I've talked about news to 76ers and Knicks fans. The Heat they're already above you.
Yeah,
all time they are. And with one more, I don't even think it'd be a debate. And I think we're slow to anoint people into blue blood status, into the nuclear club status. If they get there for the 4th time, they've arrived very, very much paralleling UConn in college.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I think I'm all in on the Florida teams this in both basketball and hockey.
But I thought you just said
I think you're half right.
I thought you just said 5 games.
No, I said that's what the sports books are betting.
I
I'm
see.
Not betting
You're
on
not
that.
saying that.
I'm just saying. I'm just giving the news out, Jay
Yeah,
Morgan.
that's right.
I'm just
You're not telling
informing
us what to think. You're just asking us if we'd like to. That kind of thing.
I think it's out there.
I think it's Panthers on the ice, but I think it's Denver all the way on the hardwoods.
Oh yeah, just because I'm rooting for them doesn't mean I think they're going to win, Brett. It's hard to beat. I think it's going to be hard for anybody to
Well, I
beat
think
this
the
Denver team.
the juxtaposition of the Heat and Bam is very undersized, and it seems like every time you talk about Bam, he gets shorter. Like he started like 6'9", now he's like 6'6".
6'6", yeah.
So like 6'5" Bam going up against Jokic. I mean, that's going to be somewhat of a mismatch.
Yeah.
Is the initial thought, and I don't know how they've compared to each other when they've matched up.
Right.
But this is generally the size of guy that Jokic struggles against. He's at his best on the perimeter when he's facilitating and stuff like that, and a lot of times he gets a smaller guy on him, and he has this need to post up, or at least that's just the basketball school of thought.
Right.
Is him posting up down there, and I think that he would love for him to go down there and post up. I have no reason not to believe in the Heat. You know what I mean? I mean, at this point, I didn't believe in against the Celtics. I thought the Celtics were the best team in the NBA all season. I didn't believe in them then. I have no reason not to believe in the Heat or this series going. I'll say 7 games. Let's go the whole way, baby.
We're going to go
Let's
the whole way.
Let's go the whole way. Why not?
I would love that.
Fine with me. That'd take us right up to draft. That'd be fine with me. Now, I said no preference, but I think I'm more for Denver, but I don't care. It won't bother me if Miami wins it. But I'm more for Denver for the same reason that I'm for the Florida Panthers. They've been around longer. Now, Vegas has never won it. And the Heat, they've had their titles. In Denver, pretty long suffering.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a good reason. I mean, I really have no favoritism in this either way, but I will say what I saw yesterday, what was it, Coco Gauff, that came out and said that Jimmy Butler, before the play-in games even happened, direct messaged her on Instagram or some sort of social media and said, "Hey, do you want tickets to the NBA Finals?" I mean, that's insane.
He also said it after 5 games. They started maybe after 7 games. They started 2-5, and he said,
"Really,
this will be perfect for when we go to the NBA Finals or something like that, or win the NBA Finals or something crazy like that."
Jimmy Butler, he's a different breed.
He is a different breed. That Michael Jordan-esque legacy, like the stuff in You've Seen The Last Dance, where he's talking about all the lore and stuff like that. It's all like George Karl walked by my table and I took that.
Say hi,
and I took that personally, and I used that to move. Jimmy Butler, I feel like, is so similar in that regard. Like he just can just manifest these things and uses whatever he needs to use to. And I guess it's just the way some people are wired in that regard.
Differently.
he burns hot, but he burns confidently. Again, like Brooks Koepka, it's not a lot of look at me. It's not a lot of braggadocio. He has that intensity, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to tear your guts out.
No, that's absolutely right, and he's shown throughout this playoffs that he's going to step up and make plays to put his team in a winning situation. But I keep going back. I mean, what Caleb Barton has done, I think, gets kind of overshadowed by Jimmy Butler because he's been such a factor, I think, for this Miami Heat team, kind of coming off the bench, playing a big role for this team. And I just keep going back. I mean, was waived by the Charlotte Hornets. I thought he was terrible then. And now, being a key contributor for this Miami Heat team, getting him into the NBA Finals. This whole team from start to finish. Who was it?
Wow, you wrote him off.
I wrote him off.
And he didn't write back.
I guess.
Wow, that's crazy.
Who was it? Somebody, maybe on TNT. I don't remember who it was. Maybe one of those pregame guys on TNT. No. It was Draymond on his podcast.
Okay.
He wanted people to stop talking about the undrafted. He wanted the undrafted rookie narrative to stop around the Miami Heat because he said it was disrespectful to those guys. But I think that just helps build this. I mean, it's storybook season for them.
I'm doing it out of respect.
Yo, yeah, I'm not
Draymond.
doing it disrespectfully. It's incredible what they've done.
I love all those. And you had Eli Drinkwitz do it again today, and you had Kirby Smart even a little yesterday about the media. And I have my issues sometime with the media, but Kirby Smart said that we're making too big a deal out of the 8-9 game schedule and all that we just need something to write. And Draymond Green, while not in the media, but a very popular podcast, he's talking about, don't make a big deal out of it. Well, here's what we can make a big deal out of, Kirby. You don't want us talking and writing about the 8-9 game schedule? We can talk about the issues in your program with drinking and driving. Which one do you prefer us to talk?
I'll side with the 8 or 9 game schedule if I'm Kirby Smart.
So you coach football and let us worry about dialogue and what to talk about.
That's
and Draymond,
a good point.
You don't in Draymond, you don't know or not know what everybody's meaning is.
No, that's a really good point. I didn't even think about it like that, but you're right. I think if they didn't have these things to write about, especially in college football, they could be digging into some things that a lot of these coaches around the country don't want them digging into.
And I love Kirby Smart,
Yeah.
but little too preachy and too many lectures coming out of Destin for me.
Yeah.
And Eli Drinkwitz with his almost daily lectures. Eli Drinkwitz, you're very fortunate you're coaching in the SEC, and Mizzou's very fortunate they're in the SEC. Stop the lectures.
Sneaky good 4-win team last year, though, Missouri was.
No, you're mixing.
Was it really?
He's made Brett. He's mixing all of my ideas together here.
No, Mizzou was better than 4-win team last year.
They were,
but they were the.
Here's
what were
it was.
they?
Okay, every win they would get, I would say, they were the best that many win team in the country.
Right.
However, as they started to stack up wins a little bit, there was a lot of teams with that many wins, and it was harder to say that. But for a period of time, they were the best 3-win team or 4-win team,
But
and so
wasn't
on.
their win of the year actually the loss to Georgia?
I think so. Yeah.
That was a great game.
And
though.
it was.
That was competitive.
It was,
football
and
game.
they really should have won.
Yeah, they had opportunities.
Should have beaten Auburn too, right? And they lost that one at the end because of kicking woes. The kicker who doesn't warm up and just went out there and took a swing and missed,
showed it.
I forgot about that.
And missed
Maybe take a few passes at it.
That was
like
great.
John Goins said, 1-2 swings,
right.
get ready to hit.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You didn't want to waste.
You know my question for John next week on things.
What's that?
All of us, all of us that play weekend golf. You know what we're scared to death of? The bunker.
Yeah.
And I think get in there and whatever happens, do it fast.
Yeah, and get in and get out. Good question. I mean, I don't land in the bunker very often.
Come on, man. Yes, you do.
You want me to let me finish?
You have to.
I land in
land
in the water, and then I go, let me get a little closer than the
that makes sense.
water. I don't usually catch the greens very often, but I don't really play places with a lot of bunkers.
What's it called, Brian, if you hit the green and are putting for birdie?
That's green hit and regulation.
There you go. Brett,
Yeah.
he just learned about this before.
GIR.
He goes, they're talking about greens and regulation. I just can't seem to follow all this
I don't know
stuff.
what you're talking
That's
about.
very simple.
That's like my person that learned the official scoring. That's 64-3, Brett. Jay Morgan, I said yesterday I wish for one game in these finals, since these are proud ABA towns. I know 100 years ago, wear the throwbacks and play one game with the red, white, and blue ball. What do you think?
I would love that, too. And the refs have last year for the 75th anniversary, they wore these red warm-ups that kind of looked like ABA-esque.
They were really silky.
Yeah. They were great. And I bring those out, bring out the whole ABA. I love that. And like you said, the Rainbow Bowl. That would be excellent. I love that.
It'd be a great idea. We need to push that out, Brett. You need to start texting all your friends and try to get this out there. Maybe we could swing it. Might be a little short on time.
That's what I'm saying. This would be. They needed to what they should have done is planned it in advance and thought about this.
Should have rigged the
That's
NBA
right.
playoffs.
Well, not rigged it. Just had it
like they did the draft back in '84 with Patrick Ewing.
Or this year.
Only my good buddy Rob Manfred has a suggestion box.
And he likes to take things out of the suggestion box.
Oh, he does.
Very often.
Let's try this today.
But Brett, I'll remind you.
So you're trying
again,
to walk me into criticizing.
No, Brett, before we get to break, let me just remind you again. You email Rob Manfred, send him a text, tell him you're a big fan. He'll send you an autographed ball. So it might take about 9 months to get in, but you can have a Rob Manfred autographed ball if you so please. I mean, sounds like
How about that?
It's what Brett Norsworthy needs. He would love that.
Yeah, everybody loves Bob Manfred.
Put it in a case or something.
There's a movie called, I think it's called Jason. I can't remember what it's. Never mind. I'm bailing on it. I'm bailing.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Hey, Memphis football fans. It's head coach Ryan Silverfield. We need you to commit to Memphis football today by purchasing season tickets. They start at just $99. Bring the entire family and come watch the 901's football team in action. Our players always talk about the support of Tiger Nation, and you truly make a difference each and every game when we run out of that tunnel. We want to see you at Memphis football game this year. Go Tigers, go.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Now that the warmer weather has arrived, let Choate's perform their $99 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC ready for the hot summer months ahead. Also, Choate's is offering our half-off 1 pound of Freon coupon on our website for you to use. Does your HVAC system need to be replaced? If so, right now is an excellent time to take advantage of Carrier's 60 months, no interest financing on select systems. Want to improve your indoor air quality? Choates is also offering our new ABCO air purifier for $100 off when you get your air ducts cleaned. UV technology sterilizes biological contaminants and neutralizes odors and toxic VOCs. Match that technology with getting your air ducts cleaned, and you'll have the indoor air quality your family needs. Better call 347-8086 today. These specials won't last long. Turn to the experts with Choates and let our family serve your family.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
'Tis the season to get in a new ride from Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Get unparalleled power in 2023 Dodge Charger SXT, $30,535 or $419 a month. That's $5,000 off MSRP. Let freedom roam in 2023 Jeep Wrangler Sport 4x4 two-door. We Gossett at $35,545 or $498 a month. It's a game changer in 2023 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4, $12,000 off MSRP. You won't find a better deal anywhere else, and if we don't have it, Gossett will order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike, or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Charger Wrangler 3500 down, 5.19 for 75 months. Charger PH 504-816, MSRP 35,535. Wrangler PW 671,899, MSRP 38,045. 1500 PN 619,119, MSRP 67,250. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2023 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Jay Morgan, I'm so glad you're back because yesterday I was so disappointed. I know how much you love going first. So
I like you to go first.
You like me to go first?
Yeah, I like you to go
Okay, I'll go first today then. My big number today, I could have used it yesterday, but I decided to wait and use it today. My big number is 101.4. Can we use decimals?
I'll allow it.
Okay, you'll allow it. That is the average speed of Ben Joyce's slider that he threw, or sinker. It was a sinker, wasn't it? He throws a sinker, I think.
Yeah, that cannot be
It's
a slider.
not a slider.
Speed.
I'm tripping.
No way.
His sinker that he threw, 101.4 was the average miles per hour of his sinker that he threw in his first MLB appearance over the weekend against the White Sox. This is a guy that was picked in the 2022 draft by the Angels in the third round from Tennessee. So a lot of people here locally have seen him. He's been kind of put out there ever since his time at Tennessee as this guy that can just really throw the heat, and he showed that. Didn't spend a lot of time in the minors before being called up to the Angels.
Yet they're number 9 prospect in their organization.
He's number 9, but that's kind of what they've been doing a lot.
They must be loaded.
If
that's their number 9 guy and he threw that well, good praise.
Did he spend any time at Double-A?
I think he spent all of his. No.
That's in North Little Rock. Are they still Angels affiliated North Little Rock, or are they Seattle?
They're Seattle. They're Seattle.
Yeah.
He was in Double-A with the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Great name, by the way.
Trash Pandas.
And so he got called up. But this is the second guy. Who's their shortstop from Campbell?
Yeah. Why'd you ask me?
I don't know.
Good gracious.
But he got called. He's very young. Neto.
Not Neto. Is it Neto?
It is Neto, I think.
What's his first name, though?
Neto. Go do your big number. That's my big number. You do your big number. I'll let you know.
This kid from Campbell's really good.
He
though.
is
I like
good.
him a lot. So it really pains me. I can't remember his name. My big number today is
Zach Neto.
Zach Neto. Thank you so much. My big number today is 8. So yesterday for the Marlins, this guy is having an unbelievable season, seriously. But he's a name that seems very generic. Nobody knows him. His name is Brian De La Cruz. He went 3 for 4 last night. It's his 8th game this season with 3+ hits. That's the second most in the major leagues. He's hitting .380 in the last 15 games. Unbelievable player this guy is. He's doing really well, really hot for the Marlins, and they're winning some games.
I've got a bunch of numbers here, but my big number is 65. 65th Liberty Bowl will be played on Friday, December 29th at 2:30 at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. That will be the 59th Liberty Bowl played in Memphis. The first 5 were played in Philadelphia, and then 1 in Atlantic City before Bud Dudley moved to the South and made the Liberty Bowl a December staple on the college football scene. And December 29th, it will be the 10th time a Liberty Bowl has been played on December 29th. The first one, the most famous day in Liberty Bowl history, December 29th, 1982, Bear Bryant's last game.
The Bear.
The Bear. I've heard a lot of stories about that game.
We'll just have to wait and see.
They were all true.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see who plays in this one this year, I suppose.
Yeah.
But that's what we play the season for.
Well, I could tell if I had it up.
Your projections.
Brett McMurphy, he projects all of them. So I could tell you who's going to be in it.
What does he have right now? Let's do a Liberty Bowl projection right now.
Y'all filibuster for a minute.
May I give? Oh no, I'll go ahead, please.
I'm going to go Ole Miss, West Virginia.
Ooh, a little prediction. You got a prediction, Jay Morgan?
I want to do. How about Missouri and Kansas?
Missouri and Kansas. I would like that one.
If they got that game, that would be.
I would love that.
No, I can't. I want to shoot higher because I think Kansas is going to be good. I really don't know. I don't know what their schedule is, but I like Lance Leopold, and I trust him to win more games than he did last year. And I know they were in Liberty Bowl.
Can the public take another Ole Miss Texas Tech Liberty Bowl?
Oh, I would love it.
Game.
Oh, love it.
Wait, what'd you say?
The
Brad?
last one, State Texas
Ole
Tech.
Miss Texas Tech.
Ooh,
Tech and State 2 years ago. That was a great game as well. Oh man.
Okay, so final prediction from you, Jay Morgan,
for the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah. Brett, your final
Baylor and Missouri. Nailed it. Baylor and Missouri.
Thank you.
Mine's Ole Miss, West Virginia.
Ole Miss, West Virginia. Y'all both did not get a single team right, according to Brett McMurphy.
What does he know?
He has Kentucky and TCU playing in the AutoZone Liberty
Big drop
Bowl.
off for TCU from the national championship. It could happen. I don't know.
The line for that game, way too early line.
Love it.
Kentucky -7.
Wow.
Touchdown. Do you like it?
A lot of points, man.
Kentucky would bring the fans.
Are we going to lay the points with Kentucky?
They would bring the fans.
Sure would.
Even during basketball
I don't know if TCU would after going to the semis and finals last year.
Yeah, that's tough. That's
but there's a big TCU contingent, like, this area. Maybe people from Memphis that went to TCU maybe have centered in Dallas or something like that. So there's some kind of connection between the cities where it might be a convenient vacation, as it were. Maybe that would be the angle.
Sure.
Can I give?
I don't have the AccuWeather forecast, but I'm gonna take a giant stab at it. Cold.
Well, that's quite the
best Liberty Bowl is cold. That's what I want.
It's a risky prediction, Brett. I don't know.
Golf tournament hot, Liberty Bowl cold.
I want to wear long johns, multiple layers. I love it. Oh, that's football weather right there, baby. Can I give
your other big number?
One more big number.
You've been wanting to do it.
I have been. My big number is 24.
Okay.
In Paul DeYoung's last 24 at bats, he has but 1 hit. He is .042 is his average in his last 7 games.
You've been asking for 3 minutes to share.
Oh, well, I just had to say.
To the means, doesn't he?
Yeah.
No, it's a small slump. I like his new swing, Brett.
This is the small slump.
I think. I don't know.
So
what's Contreras?
3 games when he was hitting home runs was not the small sample size. This is.
You know what? Maybe. I don't know.
It's been rough. It's been rough for the Cardinals.
It has been. It's rough to watch.
It really
the
is.
Lumbering outfield.
Oh, man. I saw what outfielders of the infield or something some people are saying. They're trying to come up with clever names for this outfield group right now because all of them, last night's 3
Team
starting.
adult softball.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 guys in the outfield last night
utility.
have all logged, I think, at least 2 starts or 2 appearances in the infield this season. So
They're just a bunch of utility guys, man.
yeah, they got a lot of utility guys.
They do it all.
Sure is. Remember, the 26-man opening day roster featured your can't-miss phenom that now is close to missing and has been sent to AAA, and Tyler Motter.
Yeah. Again, it's not fun right now.
But Libby's throwing well. I mean,
Libby's throwing well.
I don't know. I don't
Don't
talk
get me
about that.
excited. But I know we got a lot of games tonight still in baseball, but also you've got the NBA Finals starting tomorrow. If you're into hockey, you got that over the weekend. I know with all of these games coming up, you're looking for a spot to watch them, and I've got the spot for you. It's Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley, right behind 117 Prime. Open from 4 to 11 Wednesday through Saturday, and 4 to 8 on Sundays. I know nobody likes a loud bar where you can't hear yourself think, much less talk, but that's the opposite of Bell Tavern. Start your night with a gourmet burger and one of their great cocktails in a quiet, dimly lit bar that you can enjoy a game at with your friends. And it's not just the burgers. Bell Tavern has the best bar food in Memphis and the coldest beer in the city. You know 117 Prime, just walk through the dining room and you're at the best bar in town. For more information about our friends over at Bell Tavern, call 901-249-6580 or go online to belltavern.com. Let's go ahead and wrap up our 4 o'clock hour. And when we come back to start our third and final hour, Phil Elson from the voice of the Arkansas Razorbacks baseball team, he'll join us to talk about that regional and what he expects the SEC to do over the next couple of weeks. That's next on Sports Time.
You nailed it.
Hey, Memphis football fans. It's head coach Ryan Silverfield. We need you to commit to Memphis football today by purchasing season tickets. They start at just $99. Bring the entire family and come watch the 901's football team in action. Our players always talk about the support of Tiger Nation, and you truly make a difference each and every game when we run out of that tunnel. We want to see you at Memphis football game this year. Go Tigers, go.
Get ready to command the road in a new ride from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Go the road less traveled in 2023 Kia Seltos LX. $263 a month, $29.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sportage LX, $288 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 2023 World Performance Car, 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. EPA estimated range 310 miles, $499 a month, $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month leases. Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Seltos P745, 8378, MSRP 23,996. Sportage P7173,696, MSRP 27077. EV6 P5105,073, MSRP 49,965. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on the license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Hot wings. What's your favorite flavor? The Crazy Coop has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting, like Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasonings with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste reminds you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Right now, try any of their 27 seasonings in a lunch special. Includes 3 whole wings or 6 party wings, regular fry, and drink. Or try a catfish nugget basket with fries for $9.99. Now those are crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop. 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby Whitten, and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated. The Crazy Coop.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Saturday, June 10th, the Breakers take on your Showboats for a Boats Blue Out. We can't wait to have you for the USFL. Bring the whole family to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Make sure to wear Showboats Blue and get a free rally towel while supplies last.
Into the end zone, wide open, touchdown!
Fantastic seats get you right next to the action for just $10.
And the Showboats chug right back into this game.
Buy your tickets today at theusfl.com.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you, and excited to be joined by the baseball voice of the Arkansas Razorbacks, Phil Elson, joining us now to talk baseball. And looking at this regional, this is a pretty good region for Arkansas. You've got the Razorbacks, Santa Clara, and then two other teams that I'm slipping on, TCU and Arizona. Great regional, I think, for Arkansas. When you saw that region on Monday afternoon, what did you think about those three other teams?
I thought, first of all, that it wasn't quite as regional as I thought it might be, and that it usually is in Fayetteville. And not complaining, it's just, I mean, there was, the committee seeded one team west of Arkansas, I think, as a national seed. So you got to have a place to send the other West Coast teams that make the tournament. So it makes it a little different than usual, because a lot of times Oral Roberts will play there, Dallas Baptist will play there. We've had Southern Miss before. So that stood out. Each of these teams, you get a couple of league champions that are riding hot streaks in TCU and in Santa Clara. You get one team that might have been the last team in the field, at-large team in the field at least, in Arizona. You get a couple of teams that you would say are West Coast teams. Santa Clara plays that West Coast style of stealing bases, bunt them over, find a way to get them in. Arizona is not that. Arizona has power numbers that make them look like they belong in the Southeastern Conference, and a team ERA that looks like it belongs in the Southeastern Conference too. So it's going to be a good regional. I mean, it'll be really entertaining. I don't think it'll be quite like last year's Stillwater regional, the most offensive regional ever. But I think it'll be entertaining, and I think you'll see some runs scored for sure.
Phil, that regional last year that the Razorbacks came out of in Stillwater, That thing was on edge all weekend long. You could feel the tension coming through the TV and coming through your headsets on radio. It was real last year at Stillwater. I don't know if it'll be quite that dicey in Fayetteville this weekend, but tell us what the mood is. What you think the mood around your listeners, your callers to your show, and your feedback. Is this finally between Norm DeBryan and Dave Van Horn? Is it dogpile time in Omaha?
Well, I mean, I hope so. I think that there's an optimism amongst the fan base, but there's also there's a usual sense of dread that I've come to learn in the 23 years that I've lived in Arkansas, and I've been part of Razorback Athletics for 9 years now. And there's a fatalistic sense sometimes that the bottom's going to drop out at any moment. And this year's team has been given every possible reason for the bottom to fall out in terms of injuries to some of the most important pitchers and position players and veteran leaders on this team. And yet week after week, they have found a way to have impressive series wins, a home series sweep over Texas A&M, a home series sweep over Tennessee, even some road series that I think were impressive to a point. Winning at Ole Miss, winning at Mississippi State. Those were two teams that did struggle with injuries and weren't able to find ways to win games. So I've tried to make a point of we have to take it in the moment, and every season is different. And Arkansas is about to host their 5th regional in the last 6 postseasons. Not just playing in a regional, host a regional.
Wow.
And in 4 of those, they've been a top 8. Mm-hmm. So they know if they win, then they're going to play at home again. And this team's really good at home.
Yeah.
So it's a perspective thing. The program has gotten to a point where it expects to be hosting and almost expects to have their heart broken at some point, but usually in Omaha.
Yeah. Well, Phil, you just kind of talked about that success and hosting regionals. I want to go back to a couple of years ago because one of, I think, my favorite memories of college baseball over the last couple of years was when Arkansas was hosting a regional in 2021, and it was right after COVID. It was really kind of the first time we had fans back at games in kind of a full capacity, and Arkansas's beating Nebraska. I think it was a 1-run game, and then you have an absolute missile off the bat, a home run from Arkansas, and just the stands were packed as they could be, and the place went absolutely nuts. What was that like, kind of right after COVID, being able to host that regional right when you were able to kind of have that full capacity there?
It was a cathartic explosion of joy from thousands of people that had been, forced to stay apart and watch most of those games that season from their couches. And when they went to games that year, they were, sitting in designated spots and they had a lot of space between them. So there was that. It was just a great dramatic moment. Mm-hmm. They really loved that team. I mean, there was a love affair between that team and that fan base that year. And I guess anybody would love a team that has 15 straight winning weeks and finds a way to win a conference tournament. But, everything just sort of came together. Plus, it's not just all that. It's a great baseball crowd. They just are. I think they take pride in the atmosphere that they create. It's unique. Each hardcore baseball school in the SEC is unique, and Arkansas definitely is one of them.
Right.
And the postseason atmosphere is different from the regular season atmosphere. It has that air of finality, and that's one thing that Arkansas has over anybody that they're going to play before Omaha, if they get there, is that they're playing in front of these people and they're playing in a place where they have the weight of a 30-4 record. So this reminds me a lot of the 2018 team in that sense. But this team did something that team couldn't do, which was win road series. So I think they're a great team, and they play in front of a great crowd, and it makes some magic moments.
Yeah.
Our guest is Phil Elson. He's the baseball radio voice of the Arkansas Razorbacks, but he also helps out on football. And he's busy during basketball because a lot of times that's crossover into baseball season. And looking forward, if the Razorbacks advance this weekend and the bracket holds, they would then host maybe if the bracket held, host Indiana State in Fayetteville. And Phil, I know longtime Razorback fans wouldn't mind paying them back one for 1979 and a guy named Larry Bird when the Razorbacks did everything but advance to back-to-back Final Fours, but Larry Bird was too good. I hope it's Indiana State. The Razorbacks owe them one.
That's right. Hey, that's an interesting regional, too, and I really haven't done much research into it, but that's a real regional. You know, it's, that's Indiana, Iowa, Indiana State, and I forget who the fourth team is there, but I have not allowed myself to preview those teams very much. I have tried to dig more into my thoughts on the Arkansas baseball team and these players and what they've accomplished this year and what they've done recently and the teams that they might face this weekend. Regionals are so unique. It's just, this is one of the weird things about college baseball is that it's a series-based sport. Then once the postseason starts, you have this incredibly intense wear your pitching staff down 4-team pod that can take place over 3 days or 4 days. And you just don't have weekends like that. You just don't have weekends like that ever in the regular season. And then you get back to a series. And then you do the 14 pot again.
Right.
Phil, I promise you, I've been saying it for a long time. I think it's the hardest thing in team sports, pro or college, to win. The only thing that approaches it, I think, in difficulty to win is an individual sport, and that's the U.S. Amateur in golf with all the sectionals you have to go through, and then you even have a round of stroke play before you get into bracketed play. But team sports, and the last 2 years has shown, I think it's been proven the last 2 years, you got to be good, but you got to be really lucky. It's got to bounce your way, and it did for Ole Miss and Mississippi State the last 2 years.
Well, they also got healthy at the right time, and those guys came back and produced. You know, were really good. And Arkansas is kind of waiting right now for like Jared Wagner, the left fielder, and number 3 hitter, transferred in from Creighton, was without question the best player on the team until a thumb injury in April sidelined him for about 5 weeks. He got back for the last week of the regular season, played in the SEC tournament. You know, he doesn't quite look the same, but I think he's going to have it because he came here for postseason. He's one of the guys they need to really get going. Jay Sportsman's another guy they really need to get going. He's the only guy that's played all season long, hasn't missed a game. Like, he's been in the starting lineup every game, played 3 different outfield spots, and has won series for them almost by himself. But he's mired in something like a 2 for 34 slump, and you got to hope that he finds a way out of it. You know, what Arkansas needs is offensively for 1 or 2 guys who have track records to come out of it a little, have a weekend like that. They'll probably end up with 2 or 3 guys that have something like that.
Yeah.
They're a team that's built, I think, right now for the postseason. They're battle tested. They got 3 starting pitchers that they can trust that are really good. They've got, I'd say right now, 2 to 3 relievers that they feel really good about that can give them multiple innings. And they're playing at home. And that makes that makes them even more.
And a great coach.
And a great coach, and I haven't even, and that's on me for not saying Dave Van Horn's name yet until right now, because he's the coach of the year in the league for a reason. And he's just kept them steady, and he's never panicked. He never does panic, and
he won't.
No. Maybe this is the year it happens. Maybe it isn't. But it's it's a program that's just got such a strong base, and you got to. It's almost like I was saying earlier. You've got to really try to take the perspective of where you are, and see what's happened with Ole Miss and what's happened with Mississippi State the last 2 years. They've won national titles, but
I mean, who would have ever thought that Ole Miss wins 6 games in Omaha one year, and the next year wins 6 games overall in the SEC? That's crazy.
Yeah.
One year after the other. That's crazy. And maybe it's random. And maybe the sport is a little bit random, which I think is your point, Brett. People ask me sometimes, what does the phrase, "that's baseball," mean? Because nobody ever says that with the other sports. Usually if they're
Nobody.
football,
Unbelievable, Phil. We were talking that.
It's our favorite saying on the show.
So if you say that's football is people get hurt because it's violent. Nobody ever says that's basketball or that's hockey. That's baseball, and we're supposed to know what that means.
That's right.
And it's a difficult thing to know what it means. But I think what it means is that you got to take it as it comes, and sometimes a team gets hot at the right time, and that seems to be what this tournament is. You can get. And the game itself, the sport is built itself. Like basketball can be dominated by 2 or 3 guys. Baseball is not quite like that. So a team can get hot in the basketball postseason, but eventually, mostly, talent and organization wins out. One thing that wins out in college baseball is depth. And Ole Miss last year was a deep team, a deep lineup. They had a deep pitching staff. It just took them a while to get everything, lined up together and kinetic. And that's the same thing with Arkansas. And if they're even slightly kinetic, they can win a lot of games quickly.
Phil, I think the definition of that's baseball, I think there's a lot of examples, but I think one for sure is this. It was the Detroit Tigers in the 2006 World Series. The Cardinals never hit it out of the infield. The Tigers could not handle the most basic plays on the infield. And then the next year you might have a team like the Red Sox the next year against the Rockies, and they're banging everything over the boards. I mean, the game wasn't played in the infield; it was played, over the fence.
Well, I think sometimes what that's baseball does mean in the postseason is that you don't always get what you earned because of the randomness of it, because of a good pitch on the hands that can break a wooden bat can still end up as a little Texas leaguer over the second baseman that knocks in the winning run of the whole season. It's just there's a randomness to the sport, and people call it luck. But I still say you got to be good to be lucky. You got to be in the right position, and they're in the right position to hopefully when it comes down to that. This random thing, some of the smallest stuff you think of. I'll never forget 2019. Arkansas goes to the College World Series. Their first team they play is Florida State. Mike Martin's last year as the head coach of Florida State, and everybody wants the Seminoles to win. And that team, talent-wise, did not match up to that year's Arkansas team. They had a pitcher that just kept them off balance for 6 or 7 innings, and they got lucky or be put in the right position to be lucky a couple of times. Their second baseman, just as a pitch is thrown, and Arkansas's got a runner at third and 1 out, just all of a sudden takes 3 huge steps up towards the plate as the pitch is being delivered. That's the difference in the ball being a one-hopper screened right at him or a line drive that he catches and doubles off the guy at third base. Arkansas never came close to scoring the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And the number 9 batter who's hitting like $130 or whatever all year long, it's a sac fly, makes contact for the first time all year when he needs to, and they win 1-0. It's that kind of stuff. So everything can be lined up properly, but you just never know. You just never know with this crazy drunk sport.
Talking to Phil Elston, the baseball voice of the Arkansas Razorbacks, and kind of looking at the SEC, 8 teams hosting a regional, I think 10 total SEC teams in the postseason. Outside of Arkansas, what's that team that you kind of look at or you've seen this season that you really think either this is the go-for-it year or you think is going to make it to Omaha?
Well, I didn't get to see them play Arkansas, but the other SEC champion is Florida, and they're like a major league team junior, practically. I mean, they make up half of the All-SEC first team. So they're obvious. They're just an obvious team. A&M, I'll tell you, Texas A&M, I mean, everybody could point out to being the last team in the tournament from the SEC, just like Ole Miss was last year. But they're talented, and they've got a good pitching staff, and they've got guys that can keep you off balance. And they've got guys who've already been to Oklahoma here.
and haven't necessarily had great years, but they're still in the tournament. I think they're still dangerous too.
Yeah.
Truth is, any team that's in the SEC is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
The one team, and I guess I feel bad even just saying it, the one team that's in the tournament that I just would always have trouble believing it is Kentucky. Because I don't know if that style of, they need to be at home to win, so it's good that they're home.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to see Kentucky up close either because Arkansas did not play them. But almost any other SEC team I really do view as a threat, not just this weekend, but to get all the way to the end.
Yeah. I mean, that just shows how elite this conference is in the SEC, where, I mean, we can just sit here and say it wouldn't surprise me if any of these teams got to Omaha. Yeah.
It's the depth on all of the teams, all of them.
It's tougher than football.
It is. It's a better baseball league than it is anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, just look, 8 of the top 16 teams are hosting. That's not a glitch in the RPI. That's a talent thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going by talent, probably 10 teams in the SEC would be hosting. If we're going by talent and draft projections and things like that, but that's not what you play the sport for.
Yeah.
But the talent level in the SEC is unrivaled.
Mm-hmm.
Unrivaled. Doesn't mean that they're always going to win the national championship. It just means they usually will.
Yeah, well, it definitely should be a fun weekend around baseball, and definitely for that Arkansas region. But, Phil, thank you so much for joining us, and let's do it again soon.
I enjoyed it. Brett, it's good to hear from you, my man. I'm looking forward to next football season already. We're getting our start time soon, so we get to come out to you guys this year.
Can't wait to see you, Phil. I always love seeing you and love listening to you and Bubba. Thank you so much.
All right, you take care. Bye-bye.
You got it.
Phil Elson, the baseball voice of the Arkansas Razorbacks, joining us to preview that region. And y'all both, I mean, y'all are right, and you've been saying it all week. The talent and just how deep this conference is, I like what he said. I mean, if it was just based on talent, you'd probably have 10 teams hosting a regional from the SEC.
You really could. You know, the point I made yesterday, the last 2 national champs at home and the other 2 both looking for coaches, and the arms race, and I'm not talking about pitching right-handed, left-handed, I'm talking about brick and mortar, the stadiums, the stadium clubs, the workout areas. And I know people will see what SEC coaches make, and Jay Billis loves to point this out. But it's the market doing it. They've earned it.
Yeah.
And as a percentage of expense, you're making more on baseball than any other sport because you don't have that big outlay that you do for football travel, for football recruiting, almost the same for basketball. So your percentage of what you're putting into it versus what you're getting back, it's the biggest return on investment of any sport that we play. No department could survive on baseball only, but when you have those kind of profits, what are they supposed to spend them on? I mean, are they supposed to give it back to the to the business department? The business department's doing quite well at most of those places. That they make that money. It's the market speaking. I know some people take exception with. There are a couple of SEC baseball coaches making more than big league managers. Well, they're earning it.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens. And I know some people that went to Arkansas, and they don't really watch Major League Baseball or really much baseball, but when the Arkansas Razorbacks are on, and he kind of talked about that, Phil did, about how kind of those fans there, they really love Arkansas baseball. And some of my friends that I know that went to Arkansas, not huge baseball fans, but if Arkansas's on television playing baseball, they're going to watch.
I went up 2 years ago after the Nebraska win in the regional. I went up to the super regional against NC State, and I was there on the big blowout day when it just looked like going to cakewalk all the way through. And then NC State came back and won that regional, and another upset, another heartbreak for Dave Van Horn. And then you look at the continuity for the Arkansas program since 1972. They've had 2 coaches, Norm DeBryan and Dave Van Horn.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Dave Van Horn was in school with me.
Well, and they're always right there. I mean,
they are.
Why make a coaching change when you've been one of the most consistent teams in college baseball, really.
I went to one, and you know I love baseball. I went to one game in college, and that was to see Roger Clemens pitch on a Friday night.
Really? Wow.
One.
What was the outing like?
Fun, cold. It was like the last Friday night in March, and it felt like it was the last Friday night in December.
And if we know anything about Brett Norsworthy, he does not like being cold.
And you know I didn't like that, but Rocket was nasty as he could be. They had Calvin Schiraldi on that team. They had Spike Owen on that team. Texas was really good. And Arkansas had, they had a crowd then, but nothing like now. I mean, a big crowd then would be 3,000.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot of fun. You got to turn your mic on.
I have to turn my mic on. May I give a quick bonus big number related to college baseball?
Please,
just real fast.
Please, Jay Morgan.
Christian Walker, now he went to South Carolina. It's not Arkansas, but SEC school nonetheless. Sure. In the College World Series when he was in college, now playing for the Diamondbacks, by the way, Christian Walker had 28 hits in the College World Series. I believe that tied a College World Series record. You got to think in that span of games, that's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
So that stat the other day. That's my little bonus big number of the day.
Hey, love it. That's why we have you here, and that's why we missed you so much.
Random
yesterday,
numbers like
for
that.
random things like that.
That's right.
Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
With summer savings at the Home Depot, we'll get your kitchen clicking. With top brand appliances, like a new GE refrigerator with internal water dispenser for a crisp, cool glass of water every time. Or a GE oven with built-in air fryer for healthier, crispier options with no preheating. Plus, with convenient shopping in-store and online at the Home Depot, your innovative new appliances are just a click away, too. Save up to 30% on select appliances plus $300 off select refrigerators at the Home Depot. Pricing valid May 18th through June 7th, 2023. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Temperatures are on the rise. Make sure you beat the heat this summer by scheduling your $69 air conditioning tune-up now with Conway Services. An annual AC tune-up can save you money and help prevent costly breakdowns during the hottest months of the year. Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19688.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced. Let our professional parts people test your battery for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey Memphis football fans, it's head coach Ryan Silverfield. We need you to commit to Memphis football today by purchasing season tickets. They start at just $99. Bring the entire family and come watch the 901's football team in action. Our players always talk about the support of Tiger Nation, and you truly make a difference each and every game when we run out of that tunnel. We want to see you at Memphis football game this year. Go Tigers, go.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show. Right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South sports station.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time as we have a little less than 30 minutes left in today's show. And Brett, I don't know what to make of the things I'm seeing now about DeAndre Williams, because we know Jason Munz has reported that he's not coming back. He put out a story yesterday saying he's not coming back. And now I'm seeing on Twitter supposedly a statement from DeAndre Williams. This was sent to me. I don't have the exact original post, but supposedly this post is from DeAndre Williams saying that he has not made a 100% decision and that the option is still out there for him to return. I would say I'd probably trust Jason Munz's reporting. I don't think there's any way DeAndre Williams is back at the University of Memphis next year, but I don't know.
Maybe 7 years?
It'd be, if not 7, 6. I think it would be 7. But supposedly, due to an academic issue, his freshman year, he didn't play and was supposed to have an additional year. And so supposedly, according to this statement, DeAndre Williams hasn't made a decision, but again, I don't think he's back next year.
And if he is fine,
yeah.
If he's not, I think he got his shot at college basketball.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can argue that. And my stock answer these days, I don't know on any eligibility question how many years someone has left. And right now with rosters kind of in the flux that they are, I don't know how you can go to like the football magazines that I love to buy, and I'm buying them all somewhere tomorrow. I'm gonna find them all tomorrow. But what does returning starters mean?
I mean, the how many returning starters are you gonna have? 2?
Yeah.
1?
I mean, Kentucky basketball next year.
I mean, it's
Alabama football next year. Returning starters
Yeah.
will be, I would say, as slim as any Nick Saban coach team's ever had.
I think you'd be right. Well, and it's so you talk about the eligibility, and it's been so hard to keep up with just the additional COVID year. But then on DeAndre Williams' case, when you had a COVID year and then an extra year, and now you might have one more year. We're talking about 7 years of eligibility. It's so hard to keep up with.
I think that makes returning starters more valuable, at least in basketball.
Oh, especially in basketball. Yeah, absolutely.
Like this news earlier today of the FAU, there's 2 kids going back to FAU, and already a team that they lost 3 games last year. One of them, Ole Miss, by the way, lost like 3 games last year, and they've got their 2 best players returning. Not even to mention the rest of the team. I don't know who else on the team may or may not be returning.
I'm pretty sure everybody's returning.
I would say it makes that sort of thing more valuable in my mind.
I think you're right. I know you're right, but the cynic would say, now FAU certainly not the case. They went to the Final Four. But for some teams, you got a bunch or a couple returning starters. Nobody wanted them. They're not that good. They couldn't go pro. Nobody wanted them. They didn't have any offers.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely depends on it, but I think if there's something to being in a system, especially in basketball, maybe not as much in football, but being in a system, kind of understanding what the coach wants to run. I mean, you look back at Alex Lomax, and you talk about how valuable Alex Lomax was to that team, having him in that system with Coach Hardaway. He knew exactly what Coach Hardaway wanted from him. He knew his role, and he wasn't the most talented guy on the roster, but he was still able to play that role and help in multiple ways. So I think there's a little bit there when it comes to returning players, but it's just so hard to keep up with nowadays. I mean, over 1,000 guys in the portal. We mentioned
the two players that announced yesterday, they're returning to Tulane, and we know they can knock down shots, and we know they can against Memphis. But they lose the point guard back to LSU after he transferred from LSU.
Yeah, that's right. Went right back to LSU, and you're going to see more and more of that where, maybe a guy, I think in his situation, liked the school, maybe didn't love the coach or how much the coach was playing him, goes to a different school, and then that team makes a coaching change, and you go right back to it. So I think you're going to see more of that in the next couple of years.
He's always a Tiger. He always loved LSU. Yeah,
that's right.
Soft spot in his heart.
That's right.
He never stopped being a Tiger.
Even when he was a Green Wave.
That's right.
We really are now in college more than ever, and it's always been a lot to this type of fandom. We're pulling for gear. We're pulling for clothes.
Right.
We're pulling for logos.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Because we don't really know the players.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know. We talked about it yesterday with these college football magazines and these teams. When's the roster set? I mean, September 1st? When you run out there on the first day is really – the first game is really when you can say, okay, here's the roster, because there's just so many moving pieces behind the scenes going on at all times, trying to build these rosters.
In football until bowl season. And then it's a whole new roster, and you have to relearn them again.
Yeah.
That's the exaggeration, obviously, but point well made, I suppose.
Yeah.
You might have players play now in a bowl game that didn't play that much in the regular season. And 2 years ago, at Orgeron's last game at LSU, whatever string he was, third or fourth string quarterback, I mean, I'm sure he never could have imagined in high school, I'm going to start a bowl game at LSU.
Yeah. Well, no.
Used to mean something.
Yeah.
It doesn't anymore.
Not done anymore.
It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't mean as much, and it will mean even less after the last year of 4 teams. When we go to 12, we're going to get into a zero-sum, make the playoffs, or the season was bad sport. And while I'm for the playoffs, I always like more football. I know the same teams are going to win it, but everybody can have that illusion of, we got a chance. That's fine. And you can give me the Cotton Bowl as an example. Tulane winning, that's not going to happen when we get into real playoffs. But whatever, you believe it if you'd like. And it's going to have people not caring about bowl games that we can't imagine. Okay, so the Poulan.com Bowl, it gets hit, or the Texas Bowl. People don't care about it. Wait till we get down and what bowl game will it be that it really shocks you that it doesn't have the prominence it once had? The rose, orange, sugar, cotton fiesta are going to be peach are going to be insulated by kind of being a part of it. But are we ever going to have? Are we already there? The who cares Gator Bowl?
Yeah. Now, I think we might already be there for a bowl like the Gator Bowl.
And obviously
we are.
Yeah.
And obviously you're speaking to when they expand, and who knows how that'll affect. But right now it almost seems like with the 14 playoff that there's like a gap to where like what you're saying, Brett, absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
And then there's a gap to like the lower level teams where it means there's like really small bowls that might have a bit of meaning to smaller programs.
Right.
But there's like a big gap in there where like there's these Power 5 programs that maybe you're having a down year or this or that. And I mean, like Brett's saying, you're going out there with third and fourth string guys in those games. Yeah. But I think smaller schools, I like to think, still make something of maybe going to or a team on the rise, maybe that's rebuilding from the future.
It may mean more to Western Kentucky to go to a Liberty Bowl or a Music City Bowl than it will Kentucky someday.
Certainly so.
Oh, yeah.
I can imagine that. And maybe that's a good thing in some ways, too. Maybe that will reinvigorate the game in a way that you're just never going to get again with higher-level Division I football.
I think some of these bowls, and I don't know who I want to be the guinea pig, but I think some of these bowls need to jump out there and have the Gator Bowl on opening day and invite teams into it and have the big payout. And you do your bowl festivities opening day.
Ooh.
That's kind of what Chick-fil-A, I mean, obviously they still have the Chick-fil-A Bowl in Atlanta, but that's kind of what Chick-fil-A does on opening day in a sense.
Houston's done it.
Yeah.
Houston done it.
I'm all in on that.
I like that idea. To
I
kind of
think
celebrate
people
the
are gonna have
beginning
to-
and end of college football in a
And
way.
you have two big-time schools playing against each other instead of, Alabama starting the season with, a FCS school.
And you might not have big timers.
Right.
Like for this year, for week 0, instead of Hawaii playing on campus at Houston, why not that be the Armed Forces Bowl?
Man, I would love that.
Well, then how is that any different also than Thanksgiving college basketball tournaments, too? Obviously, there's big ones that have a bit more notoriety, but they play them on campuses even. And that's what some of these maybe smaller bowls would be. It might not be the marquee names that we're all thinking about, but it still could be a good game with just smaller schools that would maybe qualify for that bowl game at the end of the year, let's say.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Good ideas. Good ideas. I got a great idea. Dinner approaching and great locations for Jason's Deli. Locations at Ridgeway Road. That's across from MUS, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. And you can check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com, whether it's to dine in, to go, or delivery. They have it all. Wholesome food forever. It's a family thing. Over 200 area Memphis associates working so hard for you, the very valued customer, the customer that they always want me to tell you how much they appreciate and they thank you for being very, very loyal customers through all the years with all these Jason's Deli. Healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. It's all about choice at Jason's Deli, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from, and that salad bar with over 30 items to choose from for you to prepare it however you would like. If you would like to order off the menu salad, you got great options there. The chicken Caesar, the taco salad, the Big Chef salad, and then all the sandwiches, half sandwiches, large sandwiches, like the deli burger, the beef eater, the New York Yankee sandwich, all so good. The steak po' boy, it's terrific. All the sandwiches, all the salads, all the food, and the service, just great. And for catering, for any event, however large, 5 or 5,000, they've got you covered for all the meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Jason's Deli, and complimentary free ice cream at all these locations at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Again, catering anytime, anywhere. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Well, let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, it'll be time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Listen in for the Showboat Showcase on Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Greg and Eli will talk with guests from the Memphis Showboats and give you a chance to win tickets to upcoming games.
We're right in the middle of spring and summer's knocking at the door. And what's that I hear? You don't have a pool? Well, Family Leisure's happy to solve that issue for you because they have the lowest prices on pools in town. Plus, you can get a free liner upgrade during this pool sale. Want a spa? All spas in stock are up to $1,000 off. You want a play gym for the kids? They're on sale for under $2,000, and you can get special financing on any of those deals. Now, when you go to Family Leisure and you pick out what you want, I want you to tell that friendly salesperson, I heard on the radio I can get half off my installation. And that's true. You mentioned you heard this ad on radio, and you can get half off any installation. Pools, spas, play gyms, any installation. Don't go another year without. Get to Family Leisure, get a great deal, and get half off installation when you mention this ad. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Kraft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Hey, Memphis football fans. It's head coach Ryan Silverfield. We need you to commit to Memphis football today by purchasing season tickets. They start at just $99. Bring the entire family and come watch the 901's football team in action. Our players always talk about the support of Tiger Nation, and you truly make a difference each and every game when we run out of that tunnel. We want to see you at Memphis football game this year. Go Tigers, go.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
'Tis the season to get in a new ride from Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Get unparalleled power in 2023 Dodge Charger SXT, $30,535 or $419 a month. That's $5,000 off MSRP. Let freedom roam in 2023 Jeep Wrangler Sport 4x4 two-door. We Gossett at $35,545 or $498 a month. It's a game changer in 2023 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4, $12,000 off MSRP. You won't find a better deal anywhere else, and if we don't have it, Gossett will order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike, or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Charger Wrangler 3500 down, 5.19 for 75 months. Charger PH 504816, MSRP 35535. Wrangler PW 671,899, MSRP 38045. 1500 PN 619,119, MSRP 67250. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2023 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Nothing says summer like an ice cold Twisted Tea hard iced tea. Smooth, refreshing, real brewed tea with 5% alcohol. Look for Twisted Tea in the bright yellow cans. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye!
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
So I need to apologize and take back what I said in the last segment because I misread Jason Munn's most recent tweet. I'll read it now. This from Jason Munn's 38 minutes ago, just off the phone with DeAndre Williams' attorney, Don Jackson, who has confirmed to me that Williams is pursuing reconsideration and or a waiver to play another season.
It's going to the
Memphis.
courts.
Well, you know, Brett, one thing I don't want to hear alongside DeAndre Williams' name is waiver, because we remember what happened the first time where he had to sit out half a year.
It took a while.
It took forever, and they were in conference play before he was able to play a game. But this is something that it sounds like is a real possibility if they can get a waiver, and if he's willing, if Coach Hardaway's willing to have him back. It sounds like there's some smoke around this, and it's completely lighting up Twitter. So I guess we'll have to Jason Munn said a story's coming soon for him. I haven't seen a story posted yet. So keep an eye on a story from Jason Munn here in the next couple of minutes about the latest on DeAndre Williams.
I learned today, happy birthday to Joe Willie Namath, Broadway Joe, the coolest man in the 20th century, and along with Eli Manning, Archie Manning, and Peyton Manning, my favorite pro quarterback ever. The ESPN.com feature on him was just breathtakingly good. 80 years young, and for at one time the king of Beaver Falls, PA, then to Tuscaloosa, then to the Big Apple, and the big 8-0 for number 12.
What I could have done without, I don't know how I feel about this, but the Cheez-It Bowl is no longer a bowl. It is now the Pop-Tarts Bowl. It's going to be on, me too, December 28th at 5:45 on ESPN.
But I think Cheez-It sponsored another bowl.
Do they?
And Kellogg
They
owns
do.
all of them, I think.
The Citrus Bowl.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so was it the Citrus Bowl or was it this bowl that they were having NIL deals with players to stay in Cheez-It-themed rooms?
That was this one.
This one, okay.
Because that's when they also had the block of cheese come out for halftime and sing and things of that nature.
That's why I could have done without it, because we're never going to get that again. Maybe we get it from a Pop-Tart this time, maybe a Pop-Tart-themed room, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Love the Pop-Tarts. I could have done without this 2 days off for the Cardinals. Rare Wednesday and Thursday off. New schedule, very quirky, and the Cardinals in London in the month of June against the Cubs has made it even more than quirky. I think playing in London is dumb, and I know we're going to hear it's growing the game. I never know what that means other than you're selling more in the team store, but that doesn't do anything for me.
Right. Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, it'll be, I guess, fun to watch. Where are you beaming up tonight?
The Big Apple. In fact, Queens, Citi Field. I've never been to any baseball in New York. Never been to Old Yankee, New Yankee. Never been to Shea. Never been to Citi Field. And would love to see Aaron Nola tonight against another righty, Carlos Carrasco.
Jay Morgan.
Oh, I beam next.
You beam next.
I'm beaming to South Beach, to Miami. To Lone Depot Park, and I'm going to watch the Padres and Braxton Garrett go. I did a really good outing last night. They're already in action, so I'm a little bit late. I'm going to go right now.
I thought you were going to say something about the
I gotta
NBA
go now,
Finals. You got to go now. I can't
No,
talk to you.
I can't go to the finals right now.
Right, that's why I was confused.
Well, you could do a lot of sports there, starting tonight with baseball
could.
and then into baskets.
Sure could.
And then stay a night and then go to do some hockey.
That's what it's all about.
It's gonna be a sprint for the people in Miami. I guess I'll beam to Seattle.
You don't guess, Brian. I need more emphasis on it.
There's not much going on tonight. I guess I'll beam to. No, I'm sorry. I'll beam to Seattle, Washington. No, forget that. Beam me to Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. D-backs, Rockies. I don't know who's pitching for either team, but I want to see the D-backs play. I love that outfield they got. So, sure.
Oh, Tommy Henry on the bump for Arizona. He's a young guy.
Okay. Well,
a real good young team.
Yeah.
14 baseball games tonight. Brewers at Blue Jays. Reds at Red Sox. They had a wow win last night. You mentioned Yankees at Seattle. And also the college football news really percolating. All the scheduling news, all the bowl schedules. And with that, I think we're sitting on a powder keg. I'll be shocked if by the 4th of July we haven't had the atomic bomb of news.
Really?
Near and far.
Yeah. It's about the time where you're going to get a lot of news, so.
Tomorrow's June.
That's right. It is. Snuck up on me, but it's here. Another thing that I guess this could be, what I learned or what I'm keeping an eye on, but Detroit Pistons and their coaching vacancy right now. It sounds like a lot of signs are pointing to them making a very strong offer for Monty Williams for him to be the next coach
That's smart.
at Detroit. I love that fit. I think it would be great have him with that young talent they have. They're about to have another high pick in this upcoming draft, so I think that'd be a fantastic pick.
And what we got? 4 openings, 4 NBA openings right now.
I don't know. I know we've got 2 filled, Bucks with Adrian Griffin and Sixers with Nick Nurse, but that would leave, and then Houston obviously with Ime Udoka. That would leave Pistons, Toronto.
We have 3 openings.
3.
We have 3.
Okay, so I'm sure here in a week or so we'll probably get more news on that
Getting
front
close.
with hires. I mean, we got to get close. So it should be a fun night as we.
And you guys can also go home and vote on the All-Star game for the first
Opened up
time.
today.
Opened up today. So
What
you can
is it,
vote once a day
day?
and start
Okay.
today if you want to. I'm going
Okay.
to start today.
Go home.
I couldn't tell you the last time I voted.
Well, you should vote
Brett,
now, and Brent
vote tonight.
Rooker should be your DH in the American League.
I think that's a great bet. So get on it. Go vote for some All-Stars. Enjoy the baseball tonight, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.